Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here. It's Wednesday. We're Wednesdaying RJ Barrett. Because honestly, after yesterday's game, people are starting to take note of RJ and just how good he is. In fact, statistically, RJ is the leader for MVP at the Olympics right now for his stats and his efficiency. They come out with the basketball index rankings of the players, and they really go by the metrics that kind of take into account efficiency and production. And RJ's number one on the whole list. We monitored it last summer for FIBA World Cup, and we saw Luca up there, different people up there near the top for FIBA World Cup. Well, the top two for the basketball index rankings right now they were at the end of our game. There may have changed after the late game, was RJ and SGA. Yeah. Yeah. And Lugetz is in the top 25 too, without even scoring. Dylan's in there too. So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty good. We've got a few players that are playing a high efficiency in production that four of our starters are in the top 25 best players at Olympics right now. That's fantastic. That's amazing. That is fantastic. Yeah. So we're going to go over that box score today and react further to the great win over Australia yesterday by Team Canada, senior men's basketball team, and just all the regular, normal, day-to-day Raptor Freak stuff. So let's get right into it. This is when I press the button and play the music. Raptor Freak, Raptor Freak. I don't know. Somebody, maybe I'll get a song at some point. I don't know. But yeah, the Raptor Freak intro song. Boom. All right. Yeah. Welcome to the Raptor Freak Show. Let's go. All right, Cowboys in first. Let's see what Cowboys saying this morning. Bradley, how are you today? He's got RJ Barrett on blast. Keep being you, man. Keep being you. You be you, RJ Barrett. You be you, because you are awesome. You are Mississauga, man. You know, it's crazy that somebody posted this article about RJ Barrett being a toxic asset after we traded to get him. This is like normal U.S. media, New York media shading. Like if the players in the blue and the orange of the Knicks, well, all of a sudden they're amazing and they're overvalued. And then as soon as they get traded, they're a toxic asset. You tell me, idiots in the New York media market, just how toxic the asset of RJ Barrett is after these Olympics are over. You go ahead and tell me that. Seriously, how toxic is this asset? Seriously, is this money that he's getting paid? Was it like maybe a lot like 2 years ago when he first got the contract? Maybe it looked a little like overplay, but it doesn't in the new NBA salary cap. Nah, his money that he's getting right now seems pretty right. Pretty right. Seems like the fair amount, the right amount for him and the right amount for the Raptors to pay him. So yeah, everybody who put down RJ, talked too much about him, put him under a microscope, and overanalyzed him in New York. He's a Toronto Raptor now, and y'all can watch him in the Olympics and enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, realize, damn, maybe we were wrong about RJ. Yeah, you were. Because honestly, and a lot of New York fans that are smart know this, that RJ didn't fit Tim Thibodeau or playing with Julius Randle, two lefties, trying to play two lefties in one game. Yeah, it doesn't totally work that way. So RJ's fit in Canada on the Raptors is so much better. And honestly, he's the same player. It's just in some ways he's in a better situation in Toronto in the Raptor Red. And in some ways, he's a perfect complement player to be next to Scott. So, I mean, it's nothing against New York. It's just that anybody in the New York press that's trying to have opinions about RJ Barrett in the last couple of years before this summer, before he got traded to the Raptors, y'all can STF you now. Because honestly, he's not under y'all's microscope anymore. Go ahead. He's gone to Canada. You're supposed to ignore him now. Media. Why? You're not going to ignore him now? Why? Is it just that old habits are hard to break? Peter Cetera? Yeah. Is it just that your hard habit to break? Criticizing RJ? Because y'all ain't got no legs to stand on criticizing RJ at this point. And y'all can see exactly what's up. Yeah. Yeah. That man's going to shoot well. He's going to play better on defense. And he's going to be a better player on the Raptors because he fits better. And in some ways, he's appreciated and respected correctly than how y'all jerked him around down in the Big Apple. So, yeah, I love my RJ Barrett. And I'm going to tell all these New York media types, all these opiners, all these YouTubers, all these people that come from Knicks Nation, if you're not showing respect about RJ Barrett's name, I'm going to be like Will Smith storming that stage, Chris Rock. So, yeah, take his name out of your mouth if you're not going to respectfully talk about RJ Barrett at this point. And I mean, who's going to not talk respectfully about him and his excellence and his amazing aptitude and ability on the court and the way that he's carrying himself as the ultimate professional? Glory to God first. You can't criticize him because he's being a badass right now, and he's winning. And he's going to do the same for the Raptors too down the road. He is. That's right. That keep being you, as Cowboys said. Keep being you. A couple stories high Puma advertisement on the side of the Eaton Center. Keep being you, RJ. That's right. That's right. Keep being you. That's right. You're great. You're a great asset to Canada. I agree. He is. He's an amazing young man. He's a homegrown talent. He's a Toronto area product. There's so much about RJ that we love. I love that the Team Canada guys all keep talking about how they played with each other on teams since they were young. That period of time for the youth basketball in Canada, when people like SGA, Dylan Brooks, Luguentz Dort, RJ Barrett were coming up, well, that was just such a fruitful kind of early bench mob time. You could think about the 905 with Freddie and Norman and DeLon. Well, that period of time, it was kind of like that time when these guys were coming up, Andrew Nebhard and all them. And, you know, the old guard is kind of Kem Birch and Kelly Olynyk and Melvin Ejim. But those youngsters, when they came up, yeah, there was something special coming to Toronto and coming to Canada in a wave of excellence in basketball across this nation. So, yeah, great assets for Canada all over the place. That's right. And he's saying that and to the Raptors, you're an asset also, and you're an all-star in the making. Let's grow. You know, I'd love to see this. Now, this is what I'm going to say. What we need to do is we need to be a playoff team. We need to be a winning team for us to get all-stars. Barbecue won't just be all-stars overnight if we're not winning. And Barnes may be able to get there just on his star power and his plays and his excellence with the stats. He may be able to get that notoriety like last year. But once again, he was an injury replacement. And that's kind of slight in some ways. But I really do believe that Scotty Barnes is going to collect all-stars every year because he's just like that. Now, the thing is, the Raptors to get a second all-star means we've got to be competing in the Eastern Conference and be in the top 6 teams. We're not going to get a second all-star unless we're up there. And then they'll even do it begrudgingly. So you guys keep saying we've got to have 3 all-stars. That's not realistic. What's realistic is that we'll have a Scotty be an all-star, maybe this year by himself. Next year, we'll get Scotty and maybe Emmanuel or RJ to be an all-star next to him. But it'll never be all 3 of them. I'm sorry. It'll be like a trade-off. We could think about the period of time when you had DeMar and Kyle kind of trading all-stars. There were a couple all-stars where they got to be there together. But most of the time, it was like the Raptors get 1 all-star. It's either going to be Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan. So there could be a little bit of that coming up in the years for the Raptors. But I agree. RJ Barrett should be an all-star at some point. He needs to get that accolade. He deserves it. In some ways, I would say he'd already deserved it because in the way New York treated him, he was an all-star in that market. He was a star in the biggest market in the NBA. So, I mean, he's an all-star to me. He has the stats. It's him and Jamal Murray do not make any sense to me why they're not haven't been all-stars already. But it's the NBA, and maybe because they're Canadian, they get a discount. I don't know. Trevor J's here, Commissioner Fun. Good morning, Raptors family. Don't worry if people don't like you. Most people are struggling to like themselves. I love that. Those words of wisdom is awesome. Trevor, I'm going to give you a 3-pointer for this words of wisdom because it's so simple, but it so rings true. This so rings true. Half the people out there that are miserable fucks that treat other people badly, they hate themselves. And that really is what it is. 60 dunks for our Commissioner Fund. Trevor J, you're at 60 now. Yeah, no, this is so true. In some ways, they'd be better people to be around if they just learn to forgive themselves in some ways. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, there you go. Cowboys saying, amen, Trevor. Amen. Yeah, I hear that. Trevor's also saying RJ for MVP and problems for every other team for upcoming season, Mr. Canada. He's saying he's going to be a problem. this year. I don't disagree with him. Some things from FIBA don't translate going back and forth, but the way RJ plays does translate into the NBA and from the NBA into the FIBA. Because in some ways, RJ, not like Nebhard or Murray or SGA, is not playing totally the NBA isolation game. That is a FIBA isolation. That's the bullying. In some ways, he's not relying on a fancy dribble, a cross step, shake your defender like SGA and Murray and those guys are trying to do sometimes. When they get the ball, they're trying to shake their guy off with a dribble and then elevate. No, RJ is driving, and he's driving with force. And in some ways, that's something that's very FIBA. You can look at other teams from Europe, and they do this. They have very strong drivers that drive to the basket to try and create opportunities for open shots. So in some ways, RJ's game is FIBA/NBA hybrid. And everything he's doing right now is what he can do for us. Some of the Twitter heads are trying to say, Raptors fans better hope and pray that RJ Barrett can do this for them this season. I don't see why he can't, because honestly, he did this for us at the end of last season already. Like the stuff we're seeing at FIBA World Cup is pretty consistent with RJ Barrett in the second half of last year for the Raptors. I mean, I didn't extensively watch every single RJ Barrett game on the Knicks before he came, but I saw some of the things that were an issue with RJ. Sure, maybe he wasn't as tough on defense at times. Sure, maybe he took a lot of quantity, but some of the shots weren't going in, so it looked real bad. So his shooting percentage and efficiency was not good. He's tightened things up. And maybe in some ways it was a square peg going to a round hole in New York this whole time. And maybe that was part of the reason why the efficiency was there. Tim Thibodeau, very much a taskmaster in what he wants from his players. And maybe he's trying to fit RJ into something that just didn't make sense the whole time he was in New York. Of course, Emmanuel coming to Toronto gives him a great opportunity to be a starting point guard in the NBA. And he's all about that. The world of Jalen Brunson, there can't be an Emmanuel Quickley, New York fans. I'm sorry. They just can't coexist. He's too good to be a backup point guard. And you already picked your man. It's Jalen Brunson. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. Trevor's saying good morning to the cowboy. He's a cowboy on a steel horse he rides. That's right. I haven't sung the Bon Jovi for Bradley in a while. I asked him once, Bradley, when we were at the Real Jerk for karaoke, do you want me to sing you Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive, in honor of you being the cowboy? And he said, no, I hate that song. And then he wanted to sing Neon Moon. It's so funny. I was like, dude, but it's like I'm singing it and dedicating it to you. He's like, yeah, but I don't want that song. So funny. All right, let's see. Cowboy saying, welcome home, RJ. The Knicks didn't know who they had. Thanks again, OG and Masai. And I just got to say it again. Shamshay is this all-star in the making. Great job, Masai. Yeah, I really love the Shamshay pick. I called up Stevie Roots called me yesterday, and I kind of went over the draft with him finally because we don't talk all the time. And he wanted to know about our new guys. Now, there's an ESPN article out this morning going over the draft and who they think was a reach or a bust or who was going to be some of the better picks. The steal of the draft. One person voted that they think the steal of the draft for this draft was Jamal Shead by the Raptors in the second round. There is an executive out there that is not Raptors related that actually voted that and said, you know what? The steal of the draft is not Reed Shepherd. It's not Bub Carrington. No, it's not Kel Ware. It's Jamal Shead for the Raptors in the second round out of Houston University. Yeah. So there's at least one expert on ESPN that is saying that the steal of the draft is actually Shead by the Raptors. That's very interesting to me that's the guy they picked. You know, in some ways, there's no mention of Shamshay. Shamshay is not even on the radar in the NBA, but he is in the NBA. And we're going to have to see how this phenomenon goes on because in some ways, they don't want to look at Ulrich. They don't want to understand the future. They don't want to see what's happening. And in some ways, they're going to try and suppress it or ignore it and hope that flame just goes out. That flame of great young players coming from Canada. I mean, from Africa. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. This is going on. In fact, there's a great article that Monique shared in our chat this morning about Masai Ujiri's contributions in Africa and how the sport is growing like crazy over there. So y'all can go ahead and do whatever you want. Masai Ujiri said, we're opening this door, and they're coming. And y'all be, you're going to want them because they're going to help your team, is what he's saying. And in some ways, yeah, Masai's got the ability to go into the orchard and pick the nice cherries before everybody else because he's on the scene. He's on site. He's there. He's got his hands dirty in the middle of it all. So not his hands dirty, but he's in the middle there, working hard and sweating to get it all done for improving things over there for basketball. So in some ways, yeah, what makes sense that Ulrich Shamshe says that the president of the Raptors is somebody he looks up to and he really appreciates and respects a lot. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense to me. Cowboys saying Captain Canada, he's got RJ heads all going crazy. Good morning to Trevor. Let's see. Trevor's saying New York Knicks, they're kicking themselves in the butt right now for giving up on RJ. I mean, I wouldn't even say that. Listen, for the last couple of years, the Knicks have really wanted OG Anunoby. And in some ways, the culmination of that trade was the final price that Masai and Bobby asked from them for. And well, that is what it took. It took Emmanuel and RJ for them to get OG. And, Knicks fans aren't upset about this. They're feeling real good. In fact, they did a good move yesterday. I was sad to hear yesterday that Precious Achiuwa re-signed with the Knicks for a one-year deal for $6 million next year. It makes sense. In some ways, I knew this was probably going to happen, that, New York needs Precious. They need a backup center for sure. And in some ways, this makes sense because Precious loves New York. He's from New York. And it was a good fit for him, just like OG was. So, but think about this. If New York had not recouped Precious and brought him back this year for $6 million, they would have lost that asset, just vanished. And OG would have been the only thing still standing on their team from that trade earlier this year. And I would say maybe that's not a good trade for New York when you look at what's still being productive for the teams after the trade. If they had let Precious go. Now that $6 million is pretty good for Precious. He didn't make that much less before this. He's never been on a big contract. This is like his first contract after his rookie contract, kind of. So Precious has never actually made any real NBA money yet. And $6 million isn't really NBA money at this point. In some ways, the old NBA, Precious might have gotten a double-digit millions, like maybe 10 to 15 million, somewhere in there, like Chris. But this is the new NBA. And maybe the reason why Precious getting signed took so long was because there was a bit of haggling going on between him and Leon Rose to figure out what exactly he should be paid correctly. But $6 million, he's getting twice as much as Gary Trent. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Cowboys saying everyone slam dunk that like button for the best Raptors content on the planet. Let's grow. There you go, Bradley. I love to hear that, man. And you know what? One hand turns the other. You're gonna promote me. I'm gonna promote Bradley. Tada Cleaning Services, 647-833-6844. Bradley is working in your area, and he can clean your windows. If you want to see clearly now because the rain is gone, well, he can come on over and he can squeegee the hell out of your windows and make them look real clear and nice so you can see everything outside that's cool. Yeah, there you go. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak. James, what's up, James? How you doing this Wednesday morning? RJ and DeMar are so similar. Who would you rather build your team with and why? This is an interesting comparison, and I won't disagree with you to an extent, but they are fundamentally different. They are fundamentally different. In some ways, I love DeMar. DeMar, even though you did that Kendrick Lamar video, and it's dubious whether you have some sort of weird thing with Canada or something like that. DeMar is honestly a very nerve-wracking, annoying player, and RJ is not. Maybe RJ could be more like DeMar, but in some ways, the way DeMar is just a frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. In some ways, the Raptors fans during the 2010s had to go through a learning curve with DeRozan, where it was like, this guy is so inefficient. This guy is doing the wrong decisions. And in some ways, his whole mentality was, well, I want to beat everybody all by myself. And I hated that. In some ways, I really do love DeMar. And I love the contributions of him and Lowry to build our franchise up. But in some ways, DeMar getting traded right before we did the championship was a symbol of him being inefficient. And then we just get a really super efficient player in his place. And boom, that adds up to a championship. Now, if RJ is playing inefficient like he had earlier in his career in New York, yeah, he's like DeMar. But if he plays like he plays at the Olympics right now, he plays like he played at the end of the season for the Raptors, he's not like DeMar because he's an efficient player. He's taking care of the ball. He's passing out the double teams. That's another thing. DeMar never used to pass out of the double teams. And when the double team would come and collapse on him, he'd try and go through the double team by himself. And I hated that shit. As a basketball purist, a person that really believes in the tenements of winning basketball, being selfish and trying to beat 2 players or 3 players at times by yourself was one of the biggest problems I had with DeMar DeRozan. It's not that they choked in the playoffs. It's not that this or that. They were a great regular season team. It's that he would fucking try and beat 3 guys at once. And Siakam showed this tendency more in recent years than I would say RJ Barrett. Now, the thing about RJ is he does it different than DeMar. DeMar tries to bump into the contact and get the foul and then try and make the shot to get the 3-point play. RJ is going through the contact. He's not trying to stop and pop. He is going straight to the hoop. And that may be the biggest difference between Barrett and DeRozan in this comparison. But I would much rather have RJ Barrett. In fact, I am mystified about the puzzle that they're building in Sacramento. I think that team is so confusing and weird at this point with DeMar DeRozan on it. And in some ways, I love DeMar. DeMar's an amazing young man. He did such good things for our franchise. But his career since we traded him to San Antonio has been kind of an odyssey and a lost world. And in some ways, the San Antonio years were great because he's around Popovich and they were healing years. The Chicago years were a renaissance. He got to have some good moments there, but now he's gone from there. I don't know what Sacramento is going to bring for him. I think he's going to lose way more. And once again, I think that sadly, DeMar DeRozan won't get very far in the playoffs. So it is what it is. Some people are trying to say De'Aaron Fox is all that in a bag of chips. No, he's not. Domantas Sabonis is a great player, but he has his limitations. Yeah, that team's weird, man. It's very weird. I'm very happy with Barrett on my team. Yes, Cowboys saying glad Precious got a deal. I'm happy for him too. I knew he would. I was still kind of holding out that maybe somehow, some way he'd be on our team this year. But I guess once again, it's good to just kind of not go down roads you've already been down. And I know there's a huge percentage of Raptors Nation that would not be happy to see Achua return, even though I would be ecstatic. I would be very, very happy about it because I respect the defensive player that Precious Achua is and the very good athlete, a crazy, amazing athlete that he is also. So, yeah, Mo's here. Let's see. Mo saying 30th anniversary logo for the 2024-2025 season. Jordy pushing the right buttons. RJ unstoppable. 2-0 undefeated. Let's go. Good morning, Raptor Freak family crew. Yeah, that 30th anniversary logo came out, and we're going to do a think tank on it tomorrow. I'm going to get all y'all's opinions on how you feel about that logo, and I'll talk about it myself. We've heard Casey Bannerman come out and do his critique of the logo and how he feels about it, judging it as a graphic artist, one of the best. Casey Bannerman, of course, with this beautiful SGA jersey, the Casey Bannerman Authority Code. Well, he in graphic design is somebody I'm going to listen to, and his opinions on it are interesting. I have some very strong opinions on it also. I have some very strong opinions on the reaction to the logo also, and I'm going to save it for tomorrow. So we'll have that be tomorrow. Today, we're going to talk about the box score for the game yesterday. And then tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank, 30th anniversary Raptors logo. What do you think? Think about the think tank on the think. Yeah, there you go. Mo, always good to see you here. I'm glad you're back in the chat today. We missed you during the game yesterday, but I'm glad you got to watch the game and enjoy a fantastic victory by Team Canada. And, of course, the game on Friday will be at 11 a.m., so we will be able to be here live all together for that one. And that's what I like to see. Yeah, Jordy is pushing the right buttons. Jordy is a great coach. But once again, I'll say do not put down other coaches to put Jordy up. Jordy is a fantastic coach, and let's just be very grateful and thankful that he's the coach of Team Canada senior men's basketball. That is right. That is right. RJ's unstoppable. 2-0, undefeated. Let's go. Good morning. Yeah, let's look at the box score. My 5 stars of the game, once again, the second Olympic game for Team Canada is the starting lineup. It's just basically that. RJ, number one star. He was fantastic yesterday, very efficient. We're talking about RJ being efficient, 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 6 from three, 50% three-point shooting. You can't go wrong with that. In fact, he's been very good from the three-point line since these Olympics have started. I think he is shooting right around 50% between the two games, maybe even higher. 5 for 6 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, only 3 turnovers, 24 points in 25 minutes for RJ Barrett. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's right. I mean, the USA guys may kind of like have different nights where different guys step up, but if RJ's consistently like one of the leading scorers for Canada, he could really get some notoriety for that MVP race for the Olympics. Seriously, especially if Canada upset the US and they win the gold. Well, it could very well be RJ Barrett's an Olympic MVP for basketball. Yeah, I know SGA could get it still too, but I'm just saying if RJ can be consistent through this whole Olympics and do certain things and the Canada excels and goes above and beyond, that's your guy right there. I'm telling you. Now we'll talk about SGA real quick. He was good also, very, very good. 8 of 10 from the field. He kind of had that Kevin Durant stat line for a little bit. Kevin Durant, 8 of 9 in the first game for USA against their opponent and they had the other day. I forget who it was, but he was 8 of 9 and SGA was going to be 8 of 9, but he lofted a shot at the end of the game that made it 8 of 10, but still 8 of 10, 80% shooting for a guy like him is amazing, especially since some of the shots that Gilgeous-Alexander took yesterday were high degree of difficulty. We saw some of the ball playing around on top of the rim after the shot and rolling in because of great mechanics and fundamentals. So I love that. 0 for 2 at the free throw line, though. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. So that all-around play by Gilgeous-Alexander, 16 points in 26 minutes. Yeah, you can't hate on that. He was a leader. He was important. He was a guy that took over and near the end of the game to help keep Canada on top on the score and close out the game. In some ways, he is the closer right now. He is the guy that when we're in trouble and it's at the end of the game, we need a basket, he's getting the ball, he's isolating, he's pulling off an NBA, a fantastic talent move, and he's getting a bucket for us to go ahead. I can't be upset about any of that. My third star is Luguetz. Oh, actually, I'm going to do Dillon. Let's do Dillon third. 5 for 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Dillon Brooks, FIBA Dillon Brooks is something else. You know, NBA Dillon Brooks, he may get a lot of technicals. He may cause sideshows. It could be that he has a reputation. The NBA refs are just like trying to control him in certain ways. But FIBA refs, in some ways, they allow him a little bit more because the reputation isn't as ensconced and the whole storyline of ESPN and NBA and all that kind of bullshit. So there is a difference between NBA Dillon Brooks and FIBA Dillon Brooks. And in some ways, it's because he's not as notorious in some ways. So great job by Dillon. He's been shooting fantastic from 3. Whenever he's open, his shot has been really, really good and going through just real nice and clean, nothing but net. 4 for 4 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 16 points. Now, at the starting lineup, you've got 2 offensive amazing players in Barrett and Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you have 2 more defensive-oriented players that are very much Dort and Powell. And then you got a guy who's in the middle. And he really is one of the better defenders also, Dillon Brooks, but he can contribute majorly on offense too. And that's the thing I like about Dillon, is that he's doing all that. Now, the other thing that's great about Dillon is that, you know, it may seem like it has to be all about Dillon, but it doesn't. He can step back and let guys like RJ and SGA and other people be big and more important and more prominent. And you know, Dillon has his games where he's going to step up and be more of the leading scorer also from times. And that's when you see him get real fired up. So Dillon Brooks, ultimate teammate, really, really impressing me. And you're playing a very high level of basketball on both ends right now. I'm very, very proud of you. Lu Dort is my 4th star, 4 for 7 from the field, 2 of 5. We got more offense from Lu in the game yesterday. 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 11 points. Those 3 steals were crucial. Yeah, Stevie Roots calls me up last night and he says, "I love that Lu Dort guy, Lex. I'm watching the replay of the Australia game, and he just straight up jacked that ball from Josh Giddey." I'm like, "Steve, yeah, he did, didn't he? Didn't he, Steve? He just jumped up there and took it right from him." So Stevie really loves Luguetz right now. He's like, so, Lex, we gotta get Lou on our team in Toronto. He's saying shit like, I love Steve so much. I do a little impression of him, not in jest or meanness. I do it out of love and respect because I love him as one of my best friends forever. But yeah, 11 points in 22 minutes for Lou Getz. That's pretty good offensive contribution for him, considering he hasn't been chipping in a whole lot of points so far in the friendlies in the Olympics. So, but yeah, that steal was so crucial. And what a message. Seriously. In some ways, they know Giddey because they played with him for a couple years in Oklahoma City. And him jumping up and stealing the ball from him, well, he just knows Josh Giddey's weakness. And it's like, oh, he's going to hold it there. And that's when he's susceptible for me to just yank it from him. And he took the opportunity. And that's badass. That's what I'm talking about. So the balance of defensive players and offensive players in the starting lineup is a huge strength of Team Canada. We've got these guys that are absolute top level NBA scorers, and Jamal Murray, SGA, and RJ Barrett. And then you got these guys that are absolute top defensive team of all NBA defensive team players like Dylan Brooks, Lou Getz-Dort, and Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell, in some ways, was unsung, and people may not understand why I'm all about Dwight Powell from last summer and this summer, is because he's just doing all the dirtiest work. The dirtiest of the dirtiest work. 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting for Dwight. He was active on the offensive boards yesterday, and he had some putbacks that were nasty. Some of those, that lob he had from SGA, he just barely kind of guided in. And then there were a couple times where he got in there and got a hand, either knocked the ball back out so we kept possession, or he was putting a hand on it to try and tip it back in. So good stuff. 5 offensive rebounds for Dwight, 9 altogether, 2 steals, 7 points in 26 minutes. I'm just saying, guys, Dwight Powell is a huge, important part of our team. He is such a good defensive player in some ways. He's not like overpoweringly good defensive. He's just doing really little things here and there. And man, this team is so good. It is so good. So yeah, there's my 5 stars of the game. It's the starters. Once again, the starters are important. Now the bench did way better in this game than they did the last time. There was more production from them. In particular, Khem Birch came in and got 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting in 8 minutes. Khem Birch was getting a lot of applause for what he did in the game. People are saying that Jordy was smart to play him instead of the other bigs at the end of the game, and I agree with them. In some ways, I was saying this right from the start. Khem Birch needs to be the backup center on this team. No offense to Kelly Olynyk. He should play also. But Khem Birch, for his size and what he can do as far as taking up space and being physical and getting in the way of big guys on other teams, is so valuable. And in some ways, he's the best defender down low for Team Canada right now. So he needs key minutes, especially if we're going to play USA in an important game down the road. He needs to play in that game. He needs to play in that game against the bigs of the United States, Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. Jamal Murray getting a little bit more going offensively, but we can tell he's hurt. He's not 100%, but he still got 24 minutes, which is a more increase from the Greek game. 5 points. He was 2 of 7. He did hit a 3 finally, 1 of 5 from 3. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. Yeah, the 2 blocks by Jamal Murray were fantastic. They were at key times. And then like the assists also. It's like if his shot's not going in, well, be a point guard and look for your teammates and get them involved. So Jamal Murray, very, very good game. Even if he wasn't good offensively, he was very, very much contributing in very, very good ways that were very helpful. Nembhard got 5 points also. He's not shooting well in the Olympics. He's 1 of 6 in the game yesterday, 1 of 3 from 3. He did hit his free throws, though. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Yeah, Nembhard's just having a hard time, but he's a youngster. And he's going to grow into his Olympic and Team Canada career more and more and feel more comfortable. In some ways, he's just brand new. And this is very, very all new to him, FIBA rules and different things like that. But Andrew's going to come along real nice. But yeah, these are the early growing pains for Andrew Nembhard and Team Canada. The other guys didn't really score a whole lot. We got a 3 points out of Trey Lyles. I thought Trey Lyles looked horrible yesterday. He really kind of annoys me in some ways that he's the first big off the bench. That's where I think that Khem should be. Like the minutes that Trey was getting, I think Khem should be getting those minutes, honestly. He didn't have a single rebound in 7 minutes, which is a big, big no-no to me. 1 assist is basically a stat he got. He got 3 points. He missed 2 shots and he missed a free throw. So yeah, Trey Lyles, man, not good. And Kelly Olynyk was really bad too. He came out for a hot cup of coffee and then he was out. 5 minutes out there, he missed a shot, and that's basically it. He caught 2 fouls and missed a shot, and Kelly went back to the bench, and Kem ate up his minutes in the second half. It is what it is. Kelly's going to work really well on certain games, but certain games he won't. And don't count Kelly Olynyk out. He's going to be very helpful to Team Canada as we go through the Olympics. He will, for sure. Nickel had a tough one, too. 0 for 2. 0 points for Nickel, and didn't really get anything in the 9 minutes. So he was basically running cardio yesterday. Yeah. So there's a scout on the teams from yesterday. And then I'll look at the other side real quick. Double-double for Jock Landale. Really, really annoying player. 16 points, 12 rebounds. Really, really annoying. In fact, I can see him becoming more and more annoying in the NBA. I can see that. Josh Giddey, 19 points. He looked pretty good. The thing that impressed me about Josh Giddey was his outside shooting was a lot better than what I'd seen in the NBA. His 3 was looking really good. He's dangerous. 7 rebounds, 6 assists for Josh, and 19 points. Daniels had his flashes with 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Off the bench, Dante Exum, 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. That was pretty damn good, too. So, yeah, they've had their bright spots on the other side. McVay, the two-way for Houston, is looking like a real shooter, real dead eye with his 3 of 5 shooting from 3. So yeah, a little bit of going over the box score and the individual stats real quick right there. Yeah. Cowboys got Mo on blast. He says he loves the new logo. Let's go. That's right. Mo's saying open gym moments with Lloyd's debut. That's right. I wrote Lloyd and sent it to him. I said, Lloyd, you've made your open gym debut, my guy. And I think he saw it and then he showed it to Jonathan, because Jonathan posted it just after that on his Instagram stories. Let's go look at that real quick. Yeah, Lloyd. What about Lloyd? He's on the mini episode of Open Gym that came out yesterday, and that's a rite of passage. I'm sorry, Lloyd. You may be like, what are you talking about, Raptors Freak? I'm on Open Gym. Yeah, dude, that's a big deal. You're in the Raptors history books now. That will be kept in the Open Gym vault forever. And when people want to come back and learn the history of the Raptors, they will see you there on draft day when Jonathan Mobo was drafted in the second round of the NBA draft this year. First in the second round, 31st pick. And Scotty Barnes is in the frame with you also. So, yeah, you're part of posterity and history now, Lloyd. You are. It's just how it is. So, yeah, let's go look at the Instagram stories real quick. We'll start off with Chris Boucher. He's got this funny meme of this guy who's like, he took a nap during the day and now he's up at 3 a.m. eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's always the truth. If you sleep during the day, sometimes it's hard to go to bed at night. Like yesterday, I had a really hard time with my day because we got up so early for the game. And I had to oh man, the whole day I was kind of just off just because I was tired, just really tired from getting up so early. He's also got some guy, it looks like a televangelist. I don't know what he's saying. Chris has always got funny stuff in his Instagram stories. Wow, there's a very big crow that just flew through the yard. Wubbs posting something about some Cincinnati player. He's putting on blast a friend of his, Jacoby Walter. Precious celebrating his new contract with the New York Knicks. He's got a highlight of him jamming it for the Knicks. And yeah, he's happy to come back. I know he likes being in New York. He did grow up there. So I'm happy for Precious, even though he may have had options. And who knows? I wonder if we were one of them. I don't think we were, though. I really do feel like the Raptors are kind of like, well, we just seen him and we just tried everything with him. He needs to go somewhere else like he did. And we need to just move on. So, yeah, good stuff for Precious. He's happy to be back. The boys is back for another year, is what he's saying on there. Manuel Quickly's in the infinity pool in Spain, and they're putting him in the advertisements for the NBA Players Association Sanctuary facility. He's also out on a boat. He's on a boat somewhere off the coast of Spain. That's where Emmanuel Quickly is. He's getting work in a beautiful, exotic place called Spain. It's in Europe. Grady Dick has got some team on blast. Let's see. It's the USA Select team. And it's Alistair McCaw's quote, by developing the right habits and mindset, you can get rid of the self-doubt and overcome almost any obstacle or challenge. Remember, you always win in the mind first. There you go. So you got to win in your head already, like Marquise Noel has done. But then you can make it happen in real life. Grady Dick posting the mental workout. Pascal's got a PS43 giveaway coming up, so I'm not sure where that is going to be going down. Jonathan Mobo with the picture of him in shed, and also that clip that we just talked about, the open gym clip showing when he got drafted. And the funny thing about that clip is Bobby and Masai didn't know Scott was with Jonathan. And so he's on the phone with Scotty, and he's like talking to him. Yeah, we got Jonathan. And then he shows Jonathan's with him. And they were like, oh, you're together. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's such a fun clip and such a family the Raptors are. And then you get that little clip of Jonathan Mobo's mom saying, they're clowns. They're clowns. Yes, Scotty and Jonathan going to be doing their stepbrothers routine all year long. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. We know in some ways, look, I don't know are we going to be having rookie hazing this year? As far as not anything serious. We don't want anything really crazy like what the police do to people where people can't walk all of a sudden. That's messed up, Denver police, by the way. That y'all hazed one of your recruits to the point where they're not able to use their legs anymore. Yeah, that's a little overreach. Yeah. But NBA, they may be a pink Dora the Explorer backpack. I'm wondering about this. Since Scott knows Jonathan so well, maybe he can come up with some really tailor-made rookie kind of duties that would make Jonathan hate so much, because Scotty knows exactly what annoys him. You think about that. This is the kind of stuff we're Windersting on the Raptor Freak channel. How is Scotty gonna rookie haze his best friend Mobo? The possibilities are endless. Seriously. I love the story that Damon Stoudemire had the other day on that interview we talked about from last December, where he talked about being a rookie with the Raptors. And he was, carrying us. He was not only the rookie for the Raptors, he was also our leading scorer and the rookie of the year, and like the most important player on our team as the first year player. And I remember this is what he said in the interview. He said John Sally told everybody in the locker room in his first year that y'all can't make Damon carry our bags. Like normally the rookies would carry the bags for the vets as part of their rookie hazing and rituals. Well, John Sally made it very clear at the beginning. He said to everybody in the locker room, y'all can't make Damon Stoudemire carry your bags because he's carrying us on the court. That's his exact words. So Stoudemire was exempt from the rookie rituals, partly because he was the man and he was the one who was absolutely the superstar on the team immediately in the first year of our franchise's history. So I love that story, and I love that quote by Spider Sally, original Raptor, saying, y'all, we can't make Damon carry our bags. He's carrying us on the court. Oh, that's some real Raptor stuff. You get it here, baby. That's right. That's right. That's right. Dana's here. Good morning, everyone. And Bryce is here also. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Yes, yes. All right, let's keep going in the stories. Yes, we see Lloyd in that Instagram story of the Mobo drafting. There's DJ Carton above the rim on his Instagram stories. And there's the Raptors showing the clip that I just talked about. Also, there's Paul Jones at the Olympics, taking in Canada and Australia from his seat. Of course, he's in there. He sees the final score 93-83. Good stuff, Paul Jones. And there he is. They're very proud of this because in some ways, these guys were around this team for a long time. I know old head like Leo Routens is really, really proud of Team Canada because he was a part of the legacy and the history of it. And seeing where they're at this point, man, you can't help but know that people like Steve Nash, Rowan Barrett Sr., Leo Routens, Bill Wennington, Jay Triano, these guys from the past are all feeling like the fun and of seeing Team Canada be successful and be so powerful at this point in global basketball. It's got to feel real good. I mean, it's got to hit a little extra for someone like Leo Routens. I'm telling you right now, Jamal Shead looks like he's at he's showing a clip from First Take and Stephen A. Smith from when he got drafted. He got drafted and traded to the Raptors from Sacramento almost immediately. Yeah, he's going to be a real one. I'm telling you, Jamal Shead's got a feel to him, an aura to him that tells me something is coming. Something is coming. All right, let's see. Norman Powell has been announced to be at the NBA Pro-Am game this week. This is going to be on tomorrow night, I believe. Guys, I think it's either tomorrow night or next Thursday. And Chris Boucher is going to be there. And now I've heard that Bones Highland will be in the Mattamy Center. I think that's where they're holding it for the Toronto Pro-Am game for this summer. So if you are in the Toronto area and you want to see these guys play in an informal setting, well, the opportunity is coming up the next week. And it sounds like two of our former champions, Norman Powell and Chris Boucher, will be there. And also Bones Highland of the NBA also. RJ Barrett's got the picture of him and Dwayne Wade. He was the announcer that was on the sideline that was rubbing his shoulders when he fell on the announce booth. So that was actually Wade that was over there talking to RJ, giving him words of encouragement while he's fired up. I love that picture. It's kind of funny to see Dwayne Wade kind of rubbing RJ's shoulder. I bet he gets a kick out of that. Rowan Barrett Jr. Yeah, there's that stat line. RJ putting it on blast. He loves his team and he loves to see them win. Oakley's in the pool. So Charles Oakley's got the family in the pool. Coloco is working out. Let's see. He's celebrating some guy named Corey Smith. Coloco loves sunning people. He's still sunning people to this day. And so he's sunning Corey Smith right now on his Instagram stories. That's where he's sunning. Let's see. Matt Devlin's celebrating the 30th logo and RJ Barrett's achievements at the Olympics also. There's your Instagram stories real quick. Fun stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Lloyd, you're on Open Gym, my guy. Nako saying top three, RJ, Lou, and Dwight. Shout out to SGA. Quarterfinals clinched. Yes. Point differential, we can quibble over it, but if they just straight up win their games, well, they'll keep going. That's the way it works, right? You don't want to get any losses. And if Canada can just keep winning, well, we can go all the way. That's the way it is. It's just that each test is going to get harder. And at some point, we're probably going to have to play the U.S. if we want to win gold medal. So that's how it is right there. Quarterfinals clinched. Of course, there's some games today. U.S. will be playing South Sudan in a rematch from that friendly last week where they just barely beat them by one. Well, let's see if South Sudan can get some revenge coming back the other way in this game. The U.S. is not taking them lightly is what they're saying right now. And, of course, there's the other game in that group also that will happen today. And then they'll have the final 8. Or is it 8 for the quarterfinals or is it 10? I think it's 8. Yeah, they're going to cut 4 teams from the Olympics. There's 12 teams, and there'll be the 8 quarterfinal teams going forward. Yeah. Trevor's saying, I will be watching Serbia versus Puerto Rico on Peacock. That's the other game. That's right, Puerto Rico versus Serbia. You're watching it on Peacock. Okay. Nako's saying, if IQ is worth his contract, and he is, then RJ's on a phenomenal contract, and RJ is a different player on the Raptors. Starkly better averages. Yeah, they played way better, but some of his increases a minute, some of it's less pressure. But yeah, Emmanuel's numbers went up also when he came to Toronto. But that makes sense. It's a crowded place, New York, with a lot of mouths to feed there. Yeah. Cowboys saying RJ is the Southpaw gangster. Okay. Carlos here. Good to see Carlo JS, a great Raptor freak. Longtime Raptor freak, Carlo JS, one of the best. Let's see what he's saying here. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I don't miss any comments today because I want to hear everybody. Morning, freaks. RJ is the current MVP in the ranking for the Olympics right now. That's right. His efficiency ranking. Now, that's after the game, after our game yesterday with Germany. Germany, of course, advancing, winning their game also. The thing that happened in the Japan game pisses me off. I'm very, very upset about this. I think that Japan was going to beat France, and they did some shady shit to make sure the host country in basketball is not put out. In some ways, Wemby is very important to the host country. He, in some ways, is like their LeBron James. He's the very marketable worldwide superstar that people are going to be looking at. And in some ways, Wemby not having an Olympic story that's very good in this Olympics is not good for business or marketing. So I think they tried to save France yesterday by fouling, kicking out Rui Hachimura. That was messed up. I didn't see it exactly. But I'm just saying, in those kind of games, when you throw somebody out that's the leading scorer for one team with that amount of time, you are forcing who you want to win the game. And FIBA, what happened yesterday with the France-Japan game is messed up. Not only that, the Japanese fans are exactly right. When they're showing that graphic of the player and the foul that was called on that 4-point play, he didn't touch him. That whole thing was messed up, and that was a manufactured win for France, and that's just to save the host country. That was some bullshit. And honestly, I want to say this to Japanese fans right now. Y'all should be proud no matter what. Y'all have come a long way. I'll tell you, just from last summer at FIBA World Cup, y'all were a certain level where you were. Y'all are at a whole other level all of a sudden. This now at the Olympics, the fact that you almost beat France yesterday is a huge accomplishment. You guys were nowhere near beating France last year. And now you come around to the Olympics and you give them the scare. You scared the hell out of them. You made them have to go to overtime. You almost caused them to be a disgrace. And I love it. I'm so here for it. Baby steps, Japan. This was amazing what you did. You may have gotten cheated. You're right. But the fact is, in every other Olympic cycle before this, you weren't anywhere near sniffing France as a competitor. And you should have rightfully won yesterday. Yeah, I can say that. You're here. And in some ways, that was messed up what happened. I stand with the Japanese side of things on that whole thing. That was messed up, France. And in some ways, that home cooking bias was shown in that game yesterday and how it went down. And in some ways, France, you should not be holding your heads up high. You are not one of the favorites. And when you get to this quarterfinal knock-up round, this is coming up right now, you're going to be knocked out real quick because these other teams around you are no joke. And you guys are. You guys are. Let's just put it that way. Germany and France, when y'all play each other, Dennis Schroeder's going to fuck you up is what's going to happen, France. So, yeah, y'all are pretenders. And y'all may have used your FIBA officials and whatever to do whatever to finagle to get to a overtime, and then boom, you beat them. But Japan, hold your head up high. Y'all have grown, and you guys are coming up, and I'm really proud of y'all. I'm really, really proud of y'all. They had to throw out Roy Hashimura for y'all to lose. And, man, they had to call a bullshit foul call that wasn't there for y'all to lose. Where were you before? You were getting blown out by 20 in games. Now you're almost beating France. You've come a long way, baby. That's what I would say to Japan right there. Yeah, that messed up. That was messed up, and it pissed me the hell off. But it's all about this and Victor Wembanyama. They got to protect him. In some ways, Victor's not adding up to winning. This is the crazy thing about Victor. You look at Victor, and you're like, "What? This guy's so skilled and talented for a guy that size. He's going to win all the time." Well, he's not. He's not winning. He didn't win in San Antonio. He is not winning in the Olympics even. So there's something weird about him. There's something very strange. Maybe it is that, you know what, you can be all long and lanky, but if you're weak and you can get just pushed around all over the place, you're useless. You're useless. So maybe it's going to have to be somebody who's like the right combination. You can't be so big and dumb and ugly and clumsy like Joel Embiid, but you can't be so willowy and weak like Victor Wembanyama. You got to be in the middle somewhere, Zach Edey. Yeah, that's where you got to be, right there, Zach Edey. That's right. So, yeah, very interesting stuff in the Olympics, and that's my take on France and Japan right there. Yeah. Let's see. I'm right here. Okay, James is saying if Shamshay can play the 4 in a year or two with Pirtle at the 5, we can have a tall lineup of a lot of defense covering a lot of space. I think that's going to happen either way, especially if Koloko's back all of a sudden. Yeah, that's going to happen either way. Carlson's a great shot blocker himself. We've got more shot blocking than we've had in like ever. I don't know. I think we have the best shot blocking on our team ever right now. I mean, there were good shot blockers at forward with, people in recent years, the Vision 6'9", but not true centers that are shot blockers and rim protectors. We bring back Koloko, then all of a sudden we got block up. We got Koloko, we got Carlson, we got Shamshay. Those guys can all block. And then don't forget, Scotty's an excellent blocker too. So, I mean, and Mobo's going to block shots too. So I want to say this right now. The Raptors may have the best ever team at blocking shots they've ever had in their history, their 30-year history right now. I'm going to say that. And it's coming. Shamshay's coming. Oh, yeah, he's coming. He's coming. But who knows what his position will be in the end. Who knows? What if he's a small forward because he's so fast? Yeah, think about it, James. Put him out there with Scotty and Jakob, and he's playing at the 3. Yeah. RJ at the 2. Whoa, the possibilities. Oh, the possibilities. That's right. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. RJ was the man yesterday. Respect to RJ. Respect to our guy, Maple Mamba. There's some confusion over the nickname. Some people are saying Maple Mamba. Wasn't that Andrew Wiggins' nickname? No. Andrew Wiggins is Maple Jordan. Let's make this clarified real quick. Maple Jordan is Andrew Wiggins. He's the Canadian Michael Jordan is what they're trying to say. Well, RJ's a Maple Mamba, and that's what it's been all along. He's Maple Mamba. So all the confusion over people calling RJ Maple Mamba yesterday, get your facts straight. Maple Mamba is RJ, and Maple Jordan is Andrew Wiggins. So, yeah, a lot of people are saying exactly what I said before the Olympics all of a sudden now. They're like, wow, I don't think RJ would have done this if Andrew was on the team. Duh. That's what I was saying. We don't need Andrew Wiggins. He's just going to mess things up. In some ways, Andrew Wiggins would have taken minutes away from RJ. And who knows what Andrew Wiggins is going to do? Maybe he could be out there, be like just as confusing and weird as Jamal Murray is right now. Do we need two guys doing that right now on Team Canada? No, we don't. We need the guys to understand their roles and come out there and execute them. That's one of the things I love about Dwight Powell, is that there's no like ambiguity about the roles of Team Canada's roster. These guys know exactly what their roles and jobs are and what they have to execute and do. Because they're so good at it, they have different roles and they fit real well. This Lou Dort, do what you do, Lou Dort. Okay. Do what you do, Dylan Brooks. Okay. Do what you do, SGA. If there's no weirdness about roles, that really helps things because everybody knows what they're responsible for. Dwight Powell knows what he has to do to help Team Canada. He knows what his role is. In some ways, this is the problem maybe for USA, is that there's a lot of roles to do and a lot of different guys that can do them. But once again, who's going to catch that baby falling out of the burning building? And there may be roles and duties that need to be done that should have been designated for somebody on Team USA, but nobody did it because anybody could have done it. Oh, I thought you were going to do it. I'm telling you, that's coming. But once again, like I said, I don't want Andrew Wiggins on the Team Canada team because I wanted that room for RJ to do what he's doing right now. And once again, Raptor Street prognosticating a couple months ago and said, yeah, y'all, we don't need Andrew Wiggins. Y'all just chill out on Andrew Wiggins. And, well, a lot of people are saying, yeah, they didn't need Andrew Wiggins because they got RJ Barrett. There you go. Right there. Boom goes the dynamite right there. That's right. Not go saying NBA or FIBA, I've seen RJ be good at going to the rim and being able to finish or kick it out to a shooter at the corner. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's doing the same actions, and they're working in the different environments. They're working in both environments. So it's like RJ's RJ. He's going to do what he does. He's going to do that left. It was funny. Some people were saying, yeah, RJ sucks because he can only go left. And the RJ stands came in the comments and said, what are you talking about? He only goes left when the right isn't there. You don't see him going right too? Oh, man, I love that there's a big section of Knicks fans that still really, really love Quickley and Barrett, and they still stand for them even though they're back here in Toronto. So, yeah, that's awesome. And I love Knicks fans. If you guys are RJ people, you are my people, Shannon. You seriously are. Because, man, I am a huge fan of RJ's too, just like you guys. I always was. In some ways, I was like, man, I want our Toronto kid to come home. And when it happened, I was overjoyed earlier this year. It was like in some ways I had a premonition that RJ was going to be a Raptor at some point and that something wasn't exactly right when things went down the way they did. And he was in New York all of a sudden. I remember that day he got drafted and he was on the New York Knicks. I felt bad for him. I was like, damn, he's going to the Knicks. I feel bad for RJ. Well, he did his time there and he grew for it. And he helped the Knicks get higher up in the standings and get back to good success. And I'm proud of him for it. And I know Knicks fans are grateful for him too, to an extent also. Yeah. Yeah. Andrew's saying, good morning, people. What a great game yesterday. RJ is aggressive and SGA is a cold motherfucker. You love to see it. Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to do the giddy up. He did the walk up. And like, SGA, you going to do that? You going to shade your former teammate, Josh Giddey, after the game and say, I don't run up anymore. I don't walk up anymore. I giddy up. Do the giddy up, my guy. Do it. Just do it, SGA. Some people are saying you got a ghostwriter from Drake. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? SGA's writing Drake lyrics in his IG captions. It's like, what do you do? I don't run up. I walk up and then I giddy up. Yeah, I like it. Let's make a whole song out of this. We'll call it the Olympic Dream. Yeah, let's make a song, SGA. And every single game we win going up, you're going to change the verb from walk up to giddy up. I love it so much. Seymour saying, sorry, I'm late for the date. 17th morning pickleball champion. Morning Raptor Freaks. Okay, you're late for the date. What are you talking about? July the 17th. What was that date? I don't know. I'm confused right here. Nago saying Shed right now is my favorite rookie. I mean, I was going over the new guys for our team with Steve yesterday on the phone. And I was like, yeah, and then we got this guy. And Steve was like, whoa, where we get all these guys from? I was like, we got a starting five of rookies now. I was thinking about it. We got Shed at point guard, Jacoby at shooting guard. Jonathan can be like the small forward, like utility all around. You got Shamshay at power forward and then Carlson at center. Yeah, that's a starting five of our new picks and our prospects coming up. So Shed's your favorite? Yeah, he's going to have to show me more. I like what I'm seeing so far, but I want to see him better offensively. I want to see Jamal Shed convert and make shots that he absolutely should be converting. And he, other stuff, I love the intangibles. I love the character. I love the compete. And in some ways, it's like I want to see him become more offensively efficient, though. That's what I want to see from you, Jamal Shed. That's right. That's what I want to see right there. Cowboys saying Shed is an awesome pick. Also, clap. Masai is cooking, and he ain't done. There is some more stuff he's still got to do. And I hope reclaiming Koloko is a priority right now. I hope that's what it is right there, right now. Let's look at the team stats real quick from the box score for Canada and Australia yesterday. Just real quick, we'll do a recap. We shot better than them. 35 of 69, 51% from the field, and they were 32 of 67, 48% from the field. That's a big factor, 10-point lead. We made one more three than them, which is fantastic. We shot worse at the free throw line than them, but we did make 3 more points than them at the free throw line. They did out-rebound us, which is amazing. You know, Jock Landale was a real problem on the boards, getting in there and getting a lot of rebounds. And Team Canada had a hard time with them on the offensive boards. That may have been the biggest strength for Australia yesterday in trying to beat us, was the offensive boards were a real problem, and we weren't boxing out correctly. So they won 37 to 33 on the boards. The assists, neither team was passing it overly well. 18 assists for us, 17 for them. We had 11 steals, which was very key. Of course, some of those were very much like plays of the game, like the Dort steal. There were a few other really key badass steals, especially in the second half when they were really flurrying them. And I love that Australia only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. That is a sign that we really cinched it in on them defensively and made it really hard for them to do anything. It became like the Team Canada shit disturber show. That they're going to just get hands and run in the lanes and just get their disrupt everything that's going on with what Australia was trying to set up on their offense. And it was very, very effective. When you have a player like Lou Dort and Dylan Brooks on your team, it's very effective if you want to play that kind of way. Yeah. So turnovers, we won 18 to 11. They ended up with 18 turnovers by the end of the game. We cleaned it up in the second half. We didn't turn it over as much. So good job on the team stats. Even though we got out rebounded, we won the game. Really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah. Fiercely saying RJ was struggling at the free throw line, but remember, it was during his family struggle. He's been very good at the Olympics at the line. I'm totally positive that the big reason why RJ Barrett couldn't hit his free throws when he showed up on the Raptors after that trade was the personal family issues going on with his brother Nathan and his sad passing at the end of the season during the season. That is a huge reason why. Free throws is concentrating. And in some ways, he has that time to breathe the fresh air, and he's already kind of in a weird place because of that whole situation. That's probably what it is right there. It could be very hard for him to concentrate in the moment of the free throw because he has so much on his mind with that tragic early passing of his brother Nathan. That's really, really sad. Really, really sad. I'm pretty sure that's exactly why he did not shoot well at the free throw line for the end of the season for the Raptors. I'm pretty positive. James is saying Boston got Jaylen Brown and Tatum. We got Scotty and RJ. I will give them a couple years. They can be great together. I think they're going to be great together right away. In some ways, they're birds of a feather. You know, they have a lot in common, RJ and Scotty. They've known each other from doing prep stuff and coming up in Mount Verde and stuff like that. So they played each other, and they've been competitors, friendly competitors. But there's a lot of respect there. Scotty talked about playing against RJ when they were younger, and just how he respects, because it was a very equal battle in some ways at that time. Because RJ's older than Scott, but Scotty may be a little bit more talented latently in his body. But those matchups, those battles, they weren't on the same team, so they came at each other the first time as adversaries. But there was a respect for game both ways. So what the thing is, if you get guys on the same team and they have the same goals and they have the same kind of programming as far as team first, I'm very unselfish. I want to do what's best for the team to help the team win, and which is what both Barnes and Barrett are. It's really easy for guys to fall on the same page, become fast friends, and just kind of be like, yeah, this is our culture. This is our culture because you share it with me. And a lot of that culture was shared between Lowry and Van Vliet and Powell and those guys. And that's what I'm talking about, a dedication and a certain level of things. Now, you got guys like Shed around that have that same kind of mentality. You all put them all in the pot. And Barrett and Barnes are so alike in this way that, they're going to be able to coexist, and they actually fit really well with each other. They really, really do. If you think about it deeper, you really, really can see that. Yeah. Tristan's here. Good to see Tristan Trey. Tristan, I gave you a dunk or two for you and I fighting the Sacramento fan in Scotty's Twitch stream on Saturday night. I appreciate you having my back and going at him with the facts about, well, you're telling Scotty he's going to win if he comes to the Kings. Well, when the fuck did the Kings ever win anything? Didn't they have like the longest streak of not being in the playoffs until recently? Yeah, go ahead, Kings fan. Keeps talking fairy tales. We got a chip in the last 5 years. What have y'all gotten since like the 50s or something like that? So yeah, we laid it down on him real thick and let him know. And Tristan Trey was the guy standing next to my shoulders, helping me in the comments section. So big ups, Tristan. I'm gonna give you another dunk for the fighting the good fight, my guy. So yeah, let's see. Tristan, you're at number 8 now. You're got 8 dunks for the year. Boom goes the dynamite. He's saying, I have not yet seen that game, but I'm happy for RJ's accomplishments. Yeah, watch it. It's a lot of fun. It's a battle. It's a close game pretty much all the way up until the fourth quarter. And then Canada separates themselves from them and gets that double-digit lead then. But pretty much for the whole game, it was very close and back and forth. Australia taking the lead a couple times, and it always was like right around a 1 or 2 or 3 point lead, whichever side was on top. But then in the fourth, we separated and got that 10-point win. That's right. Yeah. Tristan saying, James, I'm looking forward to Mobo's growth as well. Yeah, he may be one of the ones we forget about in the whole thing. Obviously, Jacoby's the highest draft pick. Shamshay looks like the craziest project that's going to be so amazing down the road. Shed has the credentials and the history with Houston coming in. But Mobo, in some ways, yeah, he's Scotty's friend. But in some ways, there's things about Mobo that could be very pleasantly discovered as we learn him as a young player. There could be a lot of interesting versatility because of Jonathan Mobo that's going to be very, very fun to see. Like I said, he's just like Scott. He likes to pass first. In some ways, if you guys want to know what Jonathan Mobo is going to be like on the court, well, he's not going to be as talented as Scotty. He's not going to be exactly the same offensively as Scotty. But a lot of the things that Scott likes to do, Jonathan likes to do also. Let's just put it that way. Smooth Sayer, good to see Smooth Brown, man. Knicks are lightning in a bottle. They're good, but not elite like some people think, man. Yeah, they're already, the media machine's feeling so good from the high of what they did in the postseason and the end of the season with OG coming to their team that they're already anointing themselves. In some ways, it's going to be annoying because the 3 teams that are probably going to get talked about way too much in the Eastern Conference are 3 of our division rivals. And that's going to be the current champions, obviously Boston, Philadelphia with the Paul George bullshit, and the Knicks. And in some ways, I'm here for seeing all 3 of those empires fall into the crumbles of burning dumpster fire. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Boston's probably the best set up to still continue to be successful, obviously, because they've been successful, and they're not going to have much changes for next year. But who knows? Porzingis is that kind of player that can screw up a team and their culture and their chemistry real quick. Watch. Now, I think Philly's going to be in trouble no matter what. I think that people that are thinking Philly is going to be a champion this year, you're crazy. New York, same thing. And the only reason why I say that about New York is still getting Mikal Bridges was a mistake. And y'all are going to find out over time exactly what the Raptor Freak's saying. And maybe right now you're saying, what are you talking about? Getting Mikal Bridges is awesome. Like, no, watch. In the end, it's going to be like, oh, man, we messed up when we got Mikal Bridges. We were right before then, but now we screwed it up. Like I said, y'all had the secret recipe last year at the end of the year for how to win, and you let iHeart leave. In some ways, the priority should have been running it back instead of looking for more to add like Mikal. You should have taken care of everybody in-house that was important. And I feel like your rebound is going to suffer now because Hartenstein is gone. So, yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it with those teams right there. That's what I'm looking at right there. Yeah. They're not as good as everybody thinks. They lost a very important player to their team last year. Yeah, Tristan saying at Cowboy Southpaw Gangster. I like that. Yeah, 100%. Smooth saying Sixers, Pacers, Bucks, and Cavs are all better than New York. I don't know if I'll go that far. I'll say I don't even know if the Sixers are. You know what? It's weird. If I had to choose which team's going to be better, I think I'm going to pick Knicks are better than the Sixers. I think the Celtics are the best out of the 3 of them. I think the Pacers are better than the Knicks. Yes. I don't know if the Bucks are, though. I think that it might be like Celtics, Pacers, Knicks, Bucks, and then Sixers. I really don't think the Sixers are going to be that good this year. I really don't, because Paul George is going to screw them all up. And I have no respect for Cleveland. Cleveland could be at the bottom of that list. The Celtics being top dog. Okay. James is saying Lakers want Bruce Brown. What do you think about Roy Hashimura for Bruce Brown? He's lighting it up in the Olympics. There's no way they're going to trade Hashimura for Bruce Brown. No way, especially since he's on display like he is the way he is right now. I mean, I know they were kind of talking about moving him before, but if he's doing so well for Japan in the Olympics, his trade value is going to be super high. They're not going to want just Bruce Brown. Now, if Bruce Brown goes to the Lakers somehow in a trade and we get some assets, that'd be interesting. There's a couple of young Lakers that I like over there, Masai, if you're listening. There's a couple of little Lakers that I like. I really like Maxwell Lewis. I really, really like Maxwell Lewis. I know that he just had his rookie year. And, there's a lot of youngsters over there, and it's kind of cloudy what's going on with them. And now that they got Bronny, I'm sure it's just going to be the Bronny show. So maybe some of those young prospects that the Lakers got recently, like what about Wenyen Gabriel? And some of you're talking about Roy Hashimura. Let's talk about Gabriel of South Sudan instead. Maybe him and Maxwell Lewis. That would be a nice little comeback to us. I'm telling you, Masai, if you're listening to me, you're listening to me, Masai Ujiri front office. If you do a trade with Bruce Brown to the Lakers, try and get those two players I just mentioned, Lewis and Gabriel. Those are the guys I like over there. Yeah. Smooth saying, realistically, New York is where Miami is, a 7th seed. Last year was a fluke, man. That's all it was. Wow. Smooth's really downplaying them. I don't know if that's true. It's going to depend. You know what it's going to depend on? It's going to depend on our old friend, OG Anunoby for 3. Yeah. As OG's health goes, New York will go. It's as clear and simple as that. It's how it was last season. It's how OG goes. If they don't run him to the ground and he's not hurt and he's out for 20, 30 games, they could have a good season. But if they run him to the ground, if OG's injured and not available, they're not going to win as well. That's just the pure truth of it. People are going to say Jalen Brunson is the most important Nick. He's not. OG is. Because he's the one who's going to make y'all win or lose. Because he does all the dirty stuff, the very important work that has to be done by NBA teams. And he does it. He does it. And he adds up to winning. So that was a big part of what we found out in Toronto. When OG is hurt, we don't win as well. When OG is playing, we win. And that's just going to be the cut and dry of it for them, is the health of Anunoby is going to be what it is. Seymour saying DeMar and RJ's comparison is great. Just remember, we've seen prime DeRozan. We have not seen prime RJ, and it's going to be scary. I think this is a great point by the sheriff, Seymour Pape, out in Calgary, Alberta, holding it down in the middle of the country for us. I think he's exactly right. I mean, the career arc of DeMar's is almost over. He's near the end. It's like, how many more years does DeMar have in the league? Well, we'll see. But RJ's just starting. RJ is so young. We forget how young RJ is because in some ways he's been on New York for so long, since he was so young when he came there, that you guys forget that he really is really close in age to Scotty. Like Scotty's only like 21 or something like that. Well, RJ's only like 23. So in some ways he's got so much to go to. And Seymour's exactly right. I'm going to give him a 3-pointer on this because we have not seen prime RJ yet, and he's still on his way up. And that's amazing. In some ways, yeah, y'all come and tell me what his toxic asset contract is like in a couple years from now, especially when he's better on the defensive end, especially when that happens. 104, man. You're a Golf 104, Golf 104, classic rock for the Gulf of Mexico and the Florida area, Golf 104. We're going to play Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles and Led Zeppelin every hour on the hour. Golf 104. There you go. Golf 104. All right, let's see. Cowboys agreeing with the sheriff, and Seymour saying salute to the Cowboy. That's right. Smooth saying RJ has added motivation being at home in Toronto. He's going to be next level. Yeah, I think he's always had a strong motivation. In some ways, it may coincide, his trade to Toronto is coinciding with him maturing and growing into his NBA powers a little bit more, so that he can exact what he wants on the court a little bit more concisely and efficiently. In some ways, I could say that's the same process for Scotty. Scotty's such a young player. Over time, he has to realize his powers and direct them and utilize them on the court in winning fashion. And RJ's the same way. In some ways, that's learning the NBA, is learning your place in it, learning how powerful you can be, and learning just how much you can exact on the court to help your team win. And RJ and Scotty are both in the same position with that. And they will realize just how powerful they are more and more, and they'll utilize it more efficiently and knowing it. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing right there. That is a beautiful thing. Yeah, coffee because it's so early, of course. Of course. Yeah. Nah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, get it. I have a clock in the kitchen and it's set to 4:20. And I can say, hey, it's 4:20 somewhere. It's on the clock over there. It's just not the battery's taken out of it. So I'm gonna say, yeah, what time is it? Oh, the clock says it's 4:20. All right, it's 4:20 somewhere at the cottage, always here. Seymour saying, Lex, would you say RJ is already better than his father? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to think about it, Seymour. Rowan Barrett Sr. never really played in the NBA. He made training camp rosters. The G League was around at that time. Maybe Rowan would play in it. Actually, did he play in the D League? Because the D League was around. He probably did. Let me go look at this. I'm going to go look at Rowan Barrett Sr.'s playing career, and we're going to see exactly where he went. And you'll know right away from what I'm saying, the height of where he went to was this is he never made it in the NBA. I don't think he even played in a NBA game ever. Is he even on Basketball Digest? I mean, Basketball Reference. Where is he? No, they got RJ in here. They don't have his dad. They do not have his dad, it looks like. Oh, wait, no, they do. There he is, Rowan Barrett. All right, let's look at his career. Okay, basically it's his international stats for him for Canada, playing for Team Canada. He doesn't have, where is his international stat? All right, maybe I need to go look at his Wikipedia. Rowan Barrett Sr. never played the NBA. So that's the short answer right there. Right there. That's all you need to know. So forget about anything else. All right, so Rowan Barrett Sr. played, he's a former professional basketball player. He was the top scorer in 2002 in the Israel Basketball Premier League. And that is the height that he got to, guys. He played for St. John's in college, and he was under contract with the Raptors and the Sixers, but he never played in any NBA regular season game with those teams. So he played in Spain, Argentina, Venezuela, Cyprus, Greece, Israel, and Italy. So Rowan Barrett Sr. played international. He was only an international player. He never played in the NBA. So you tell me who's better, Seymour. Yeah. Rui is definitely better than Bruce. Yep, I'll agree with that, Fiercey. And Cowboys saying later, Lex and Raptor Freak family, have a great day. Got to go build a deck at Young and Peace. Young and Peace? What? Everyone have a great and safe day. Yeah, I like peace on Young Street. More peace on Young Street for sure. Yeah, stay safe out there. That's right. Yeah. Smooth saying, wasn't Rowan Barrett blacklisted from the NBA? I heard a rumor that he got into a verbal exchange with Larry Brown during Sixers training camp, and Brown put the word out he wasn't coachable. That's weird. I'm going to look this up. All right, we're going to do research while we're on the air real quick. I'm going to put in the name Rowan Barrett with that name of that coach, and let's see what they say about it. I don't see anything in here exactly that says that. There's nothing online. So it is what it is. I don't know. I think he just wasn't good enough. I would say this. What you're saying, Smooth, doesn't make sense for the Raptors side of things. Like, okay, maybe he didn't work out with Larry Brown in Philadelphia at that time, but he came to Toronto and he was in our training camp, but he still got cut before the season started too. So I don't know if that's totally true, Smooth. It could be. You maybe remember something. The internet just hasn't put it out there at that point. But I don't want to start a rumor or anything like that. But I don't think that it's true. I don't think it's true. I think that it just was that Rowan just wasn't to that level to get there. But who knows? Maybe you're right, and that was what happened. I have no idea. I can't say. I've never heard of this though. Seymour's wowing about it. Rowan was our Fisher Price MJ for Team Canada back in the day. That's kind of mean, but no, it's true. Rowan Barrett Sr. was amazing in 2000 alongside Steve Nash. Yeah. Trevor's saying NBA Chef put out a new video saying Team Canada is a problem. He said the only game he wants to see is Canada versus US. I think a lot of people want to see this. I'm sure the Olympic organizers want to see this. In fact, this could be part of how they determine the seeding in the groups for the knockout round. Is in some ways we want to make sure Canada's over on this side and USA's on this side so that if they do play each other, it's absolutely in a medal game, whether it's whichever one. I'm sure if it's going to be us against USA in a medal game, it will be the gold medal game. So in some ways, the Olympics want that drama because man, it'd be such a fantastic game. And if Shev's saying that, I agree with him. Yeah. Smooth saying Rowan was nice though. He should have had an NBA shot with St. John's. He was crazy. Now the thing about Rowan Barrett Sr. is I don't know. Since he's only 6'6", yeah, maybe he should have. I don't know what happened. He just had to go international. I don't know. Maybe I should research RJ's dad a little bit more and find out. Maybe I'll see if this Larry Brown story that you're bringing up is actually any merit to it. Let's see. Seymour saying, I know everyone said that game in Vegas didn't matter. It's cool, but we need that get back, Canada versus USA in the finals. Must see ball. Well, this is the thing. That game didn't matter partly because we didn't try our best in it. Canada didn't try that they didn't do as well as they could have. In fact, that was the first tune-up game, right? And in some ways, what did we lose to them by? Less than 10 points. Jordy did not coach that game correctly. We didn't even use Kem Birch against them. There's a lot of things we could do to improve our performance against USA. And in some ways, Jordy wasn't showing them all their cards. He just wasn't. He held his cards to his chest. He said, yeah, we'll go out there and we'll go through the motions. I'll do hockey lineup changes. I won't show you all the best stuff we got. And honestly, we're going to ramp up how good we are by the time we get to the medal round, that this is not going to be the same Canada team that you're going to see then USA. So there's a lot of ways that we can improve from that matchup in Vegas against USA when we lost to them by single digit. It's crazy because we lose that game. And well, what have happened since? All W's. It's like we'll lose the USA, win all of our friendlies since, and we've won all our Olympic games too. So we're like 5-0 since then. So it's like, yeah, lose to USA in Vegas in a friendly. It's just really kind of a showcase at Summer League for everybody to get all woo. In some ways, you don't want to upstage US and piss them off right now when it doesn't matter. Go ahead and let them win. Let them feel real good. Get them when it counts. That's what I'm saying. Get them when it counts. That's right. Get them when it counts. That's right. Kareem is here. He's saying butt dial is Amateur Hour, Raptors Digest, Pensair, and all the other lame-ass channels struggling to keep afloat when there's no actual Raptors content. These dudes just talking theoretically and what ifs. Yeah, I try not to do that. I'm not going to say this has been a very difficult period since Summer League ended. These 2 days between the Olympic Games, I struggle a little bit myself. But, Lex is going to figure out something to talk about every single day, whether with something to do with Raptors or Team Canada. Yeah, these guys should just take the summer off. Didn't they used to do that? Did Lex change it? Did Lex change the game? Because a couple of years ago, he decided to do an everyday live stream in the morning, even in the off season, that now people like William Liu and all them, they can't just take the whole summer off like they used to. They're like, damn it, Raptors freak. Why did you have this work ethic where you're going to come in and do something every single day? Now we all feel like we have to continue to put stuff out all summer. I knew the appetite from Raptors fans in the offseason is greater than ever for Raptors content. So I was like, man, you're going to do your stream every day for the whole year. What are you going to talk about in the summer? Lex, you'll figure it out. You celebrate the history of the Raptors. You can celebrate all kinds of different things in the middle of summer. And do the Share the Love Club. Do something cool, Well, these guys, whatever. They can go ahead and try and do what I do in the summer. It's hard. It's a workload. And y'all go ahead and talk about your fancy this and that. Like, man, it drives me nuts, some of this stuff. Like, all right, there's an article that Trevor posted in our Facebook chat yesterday that I'm like, why are we posting this in here? Is basically ESPN comes out with a ranking for the players in the league and where they see everybody is, or they do a redraft. They did a redraft of the draft with Scotty or all the young players, and then they do a hypothetical. Well, the redraft, Scotty would be on the Hawks instead in this situation. So why are you writing an article or talking about this when it's a redraft? This is all fantasy bullshit. Like, none of this is important. This didn't happen. And in some ways, y'all can go ahead and do your little mental exercises, your theoreticals, but what's the fucking point? Redraft articles are the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's like, we're going to go ahead and redraft everything and act like that what reality happened and where everything isn't what happened. It's the stupidest shit. It's like hindsight 2020. We did the draft when Scotty was in the draft. He would have been the number one pick instead of Cade Cunningham. It's a redraft. Who cares? What are you fucking doing with your life? Quit wasting your life. Get out there and touch grass. If you're doing theoretical Raptors content, whether it's theoretical trade talk, whether it's like, oh, let's redraft the 2021 draft class. Why? Why? Life is what it is. Why can't you just fucking live life instead of writing your dumbass little Raptors content articles, people? It's so funny. Yeah, I'm with you. But now I'm with you. Yeah. That's why I love this channel. Even though there's not much to talk about, we have enough colorful subscribers to have great conversation. This channel is for the elites. I mean, listen, I don't want to try and do that, but I will say the diehards, the real ones, find this place. And if my flavor is one that you don't mind, you will stick around. But no, it's true. It's true. But we're so analytical and we're so detailed. They can't do shit in 10-minute little clips on YouTube. No, they can't do what I do in 2 hours. The texture, the rich culture that I build on this channel with my crazy ass voice and crazy things I'm saying all the time. They can't do that. They can't be Lex. They can't say shit like I do. They just can't. They can't do it. So it is what it is. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for being a partnership with me. The comments and the Raptor Freaks are very much half the contributors on this channel along with me. That's right. That's right. Bud Dial saying, oh, yeah. Well, it's time we give RJ a nickname. Maple Mamba. Maple Mamba. I don't mind. What's another one? We can make him. Well, Captain Canada kind of is Kelly. Captain Canada. But I don't know. There's probably some really good ones out there. I mean, RJ may have his own nicknames inside it. It's funny because once again, Damon Stoudemire in that interview that I watched this week that Monique shared with us, he said that, the fans were calling me Mighty Mouse, and that was the name that they had for me. But it was funny because everybody on the Raptors at that time called him Biggie. Biggie is the nickname that Damon Stoudemire has within the league with the players. That the Raptors players all called him Biggie. They didn't talk about his size because they thought he was just like a badass. He was so good at 5'10" that his nickname with the players was Biggie. That's what the Raptors players in the first year of the Raptors called Damon behind the scenes. So there's a weird dichotomy between the Biggie nickname and the Mighty Mouse nickname that the fans were giving him. And Damon said that he got the Mighty Mouse tattoo on his body because it was brand. And that in some ways he wanted to embrace it because he knew this was good. Now, he would have done more with merchandise with the Mighty Mouse thing if the company that made the cartoon that owned the rights to the cartoon would have allowed it, but they didn't. So he couldn't branch out into merchandising with the Mighty Mouse image because the ownership of that image was, they said no. They said no, basically. So that was interesting to me as far as Damon Stoudemire and his nickname Mighty Mouse, but he was actually called Biggie by the players behind the scenes. I mean, there's a lot of this kind of stuff. The players have different nicknames than the ones the fans give them sometimes. Like Magic Johnson's nickname when he played in the NBA was Buck. Yeah, his nickname was Buck. They called him Buck, the Showtime Lakers on the team bus and on the planes. Hey, Buck. That's what they called Magic. Yeah. Not a lot of people know that. And even Isaiah had a different name. I forget what Isaiah Thomas's nickname was when he played. But yeah, there's always a different nickname for the players on the inside on the team that you often don't know. Because it's kind of in-house player stuff that they don't. It's locker room stuff. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, Biggie is the real nickname for Damon. If you guys didn't know that, yeah. Smooth saying, Rowan Barrett arrived in St. John a little after Walter Berry left for the NBA. The Redmen, as they were known as then, were right up there with Syracuse and Georgetown as NCAA Big East powers. Yeah, I seem to remember that. To an extent at that time. Let's see. James is saying, I think Bruce Brown is going to have a better year now that Trent is gone. A lot of minutes to go around. That's an interesting take, James. I mean, listen, I always say this. Bruce Brown could have a better year for the Raptors this year if his knees healed up. On the down low, a lot of the problems with Bruce Brown when he showed up on our team was that he wasn't healthy. His knee was messed up still, and he was playing hurt. So if he's gotten healed up and he's feeling more healthy this summer, maybe we do see a better Bruce Brown for the Raptors this season coming up. And I will say what you're saying is exactly another thing that could add to him being more productive and better for us. Is Gary's gone, but there's other guys around that are going to try and jump in that spot too, whether it's Walter or Dick expanding his game for sure. Whoa, phrasing, Lex. Let's see. Trevor's saying that Chev said that he believed Canada is going to be a top dog and the team to beat in 2028 because the USA will have to rebuild. LeBron, KD, Curry, they will all be gone. I mean, if we're really talking about steady streams of good NBA players for these countries, USA is top notch. I mean, they just have such a huge pool. But let's talk about this. This is the thing that Canada coaches need to start thinking about. Is the reason why the rest of the world's catching up on the USA is that the kids are not getting trained correctly how to play team game. They're all skill oriented. This is a big topic around basketball, around global basketball, is that in North America, coaches focus too much on individual skill and developing like dribbling and ball handling and shooting, and not as much team play kind of integration of skill as far as like passing and like knowledge of how to play off other people. And that's where we're losing in the global world of like training young players in basketball coming up. That USA and Canada are always kind of similar because of proximity and culture, and also North America. So we are more like USA, and maybe we aren't teaching the team oriented skills to our young basketball players coming up like they are in places like Serbia and Lithuania and other places around the world. So that is something that maybe Canadian coaches and people that are in charge of programs could like think about and try and be like, well, this is part of where USA is getting behind. For us to stay ahead, we need to train our players better in team oriented ways. This is part of the symptoms of you can have amazingly talented young players that have high skill, but they don't know how to play within a team because they just haven't done it right or properly. And then they don't become good NBA players because, sure, yeah, you can shoot and dribble and dunk, but you don't know how to play with a team or win as a team. And that's the big thing that's getting lost in translation between young players and coming into the NBA right now, is that there's a lot of training that's not there that they should have had already. And in some ways, saying what Trevor's saying here about the older players retiring and them being like the old school that way, maybe the young players will be like this, and the USA will fall down a little bit in the global dominance of men's basketball because of what I just described. So that's an interesting thing right there. Maybe Canada can be smart with their teachers and coaches and people in the infrastructure of building the youth in basketball in this country and understand, well, maybe we need to teach more team skills for our young players to stay ahead and maybe even be like the other places in the world that are starting to catch up on USA, is what I would say right there. Yeah, Smooth saying Chev is right. In my opinion, the gold is there for Canada in 2028. Of course, it's a possibility now, but unlikely in my opinion. But hey, if it happens, wow, it could happen. It could happen. Seriously. We have the right team to do it right now, too. I mean, I don't want to wait till 2028. Let's live for today. These guys aren't doing this to mess around and waste their time. They're going to go for it. And if they have a shot, if they get a shot, they're going to make the best chance they can. I believe in them. Carlos saying Yuki Togashi was so inspiring, being 5'6" and just dominating like that. Marquise should look on how this guy shoots. Yeah, amazing job by the point guard for Japan. The pictures of him standing next to Victor were insane as far as the difference in height. Absolutely insane. And wow, heart over height embodied in that young point guard for Japan. Very, very cool. In some ways, you're a hero, my guy. Even if y'all didn't win, you are a hero because in some ways, the stark contrast and height between you and Wembayama makes you such an inspiring story. And I know the Japanese people look at you as a national hero right now, and they should. You are amazing. You are amazing. Really, really proud of Togashi. Seriously, seriously proud of him. Brian's saying, what's up, Freak Nation? Glad to hear your opinions on RJ and see what I didn't cover on my recent episode. But let's call him Real Jewel. Real Jewel. Real Jewel. There's been a couple of nicknames that I've seen recently. Like I think Cowboy used one in our chat or something. Like it was like our Star J. Star J. Somebody's been calling him Star J. And I kind of like that one. Star J. You know, rhyming a star with R. Star J. Star J. Yeah, I don't mind that one. Maybe it's not as good. Maybe it's not as good. But yeah, check out To The Point. Always putting out new Raptors content, talking about Raptors stuff. Usually not speculative, usually not trade rumor stuff, real concrete stuff on To The Point with King and his guests, Coach Roach, and the varying cast of characters coming in on there. One of them will be me. At some point, I will do Brian's show probably at the end of this month coming up, near the end of August. I'll try and come in and be on Brian's show. First 2 weeks are too busy. Fiercely saying, I watched the game. Japan was definitely beating France. They managed to eject Rui based on an unsportsmanlike foul, and despite him being out, they applied so much pressure. It was beautiful. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that really is. You're really messing them up. This guy's hot from three. He's their leading scorer. He's their best NBA player, and you're gonna kick him out with minutes to go on the clock. And yeah, man, you really hurt a team. It's just like when Scott Foster threw Scotty out in Denver in that game, and that was so messed up. It really changes the momentum, and everything shifts. And it really is like the refs are trying to hand the victory to the side that didn't get hurt by it. It really is like that. It's so crazy. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rapid Freak crew. I tuned in late. Yes, Rapid Freak. It's Maple Mamba. Maple Mamba. And that's like RJ loves that. I mean, I'm sure he's a huge fan of Kobe Bryant. And being the Maple Mamba is fantastic. It's a fantastic honor, and he deserves it in some ways. He really, really does. In some ways, he's that kind of guy for us, for our nation, as far as all the different guys that score. I mean, we could talk about Blue Arrow and what Jamal Murray does, his offensive prowess. We could talk about SGA, his all-around excellence and MVP like person. But in some ways, the right person to call Maple Mamba is RJ Barrett. That's right. Fiercely saying France will get exposed. I'm not worried. They can get so much help, but that won't factor in the end. Yeah, they're going to get messed up in the next round. The knockout round will be where they get knocked out. And they're going to get knocked out right away. Trust me. They'll be one of the teams that gets into the next part, but they're going to be going out quick. In fact, I hope we play them and we kick their ass and put them out ourselves, because we've already beaten them twice in the last month. Yeah, we can beat them a third time. Yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, we will. That's right. Fiercely saying France will get exposed. Yeah, that's the same comment twice. Brian saying, love seeing the American audience shutting down the media narrative of Le Flop being the MVP and saying it's RJ. That's cool. So they're saying that down south right now. I love that. That's not normal. That's not normal at all. You see, the Americans are actually standing with RJ. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The MVP for me on USA, we'll see who steps up today against South Sudan. And even if they win, seriously, what if they lose to South Sudan? Because South Sudan is just like that. They're crazy. They're just like, we're messing everybody up. We don't care. We are out to do it because we have nothing to lose. What if they do lose to them? That would be crazy. That would be a really big blow. In some ways, it wouldn't be good for us. We want them to be undefeated because we want them to be the other pole on the other side from us. If they lose, it could end up that they do end up coming into the knockout round with against Canada before the medal rounds. So in some ways, we are rooting for USA to win just so it can set up the gold medal game right. So, but yeah, what if that happened? I would say right now, the MVP for USA is Kevin Durant, obviously. Coming off the bench and being what he did, he absolutely dominated that game and helped them win that first game so much. That was Durant. If you're asking me if I have to pick any of the American players for MVP candidate, it's Kevin Durant right now. It's Kevin Durant. Obviously, it's Kevin Durant. That's right. Mamba. Maple Mamba. That's right. Cool Cat saying people forget that RJ was the number 3 draft pick in 2019. Got to believe in his talent. Knicks didn't know how to use him. They were fixated on Randall instead of their own draft pick. Their losses are gained. I think this is true. I think the Cool Cat coach is just hitting it on, nail on the head. That in some ways, Randall, it's weird because Randall came from the Lakers and a couple other teams, and he had been a really good prospect in Lakers Nation. So in some ways, the same thing happened to him that happened to RJ. That other people came into the franchise and the veteran came in and kind of took his spot. So he got moved. And wasn't he in that trade for Anthony Davis? And didn't he go to the Pelicans for a little bit or something? And then he went to the Knicks. You know, I think that this is so true that really Julius Randle was the biggest impediment to RJ Barrett being successful in New York. And well, who's still on the Knicks? It's Randle. But how much longer is he going to be there? How much longer is he going to be? Yeah, number 3 pick in the draft. He's picked one spot before Scott. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying at Brian, nice. That's a rare occurrence, giving them props to one of ours. I think that in some ways, the New York media still really loves RJ, a former Knick. And in some ways, he's not going to be like a normal Raptor on this side of the border because they already know about him. And there's a lot of love for RJ on the state side. And in some ways, he may get more respect as a Raptor than other guys do just because they have a sentimentality about him. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure the same's for Emmanuel Quickley also. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting that they would take those takes. And of course, there's a lot of LeBron haters around New York also. Fiercely saying SGA could legit be a ghostwriter. He's got bars. That's what a lot of people are saying. Is SGA in the writing community for Drake? Is SGA getting a writing credit? Like, can we check Drake's album and see if he's in the liner notes? Because in some ways he might need to be. I don't know. Maybe Aubrey, you need to go talk to him, and maybe he can help you get your game up. I don't know. SGA is talking about walk up. It's pretty damn good. I'm telling you right now. Cool Cat saying Lex, OG's going to feel uneasy with their Villanova bonding. They would be better off keeping the backup center instead of Mikal. I totally agree with Cool Cat on this. This was an overstep and really dumb. I don't understand why they just really, really wanted to get Bridges so bad. Was it because those Villanova guys were whining about it so much? Just get Mikal. Just get Mikal, Leon. Please. Please. These are the whiny guys. It's like we'll be a contingency now. We'll have the faction of DiVincenzo, Hart, Brunson, and Bridges. They just really wanted to have that. Well, where does it end? Why didn't you get Kyle Lowry this summer too? You get all these Villanova guys. Why didn't you do that? And you could be the old dog with the young pups of Villanova there. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Cool Cat. In some ways, you just got a guy who's a duplicate of OG. Why did you do that? In some ways, you're going to be stepping on each other's toes. It's already you got a bunch of middle muddled kind of guys. It's kind of like how the Raptors were 2 years ago. You got a bunch of middle guys. And where's your center? Where's your center? In some ways, you're going to play OG at center. You're fucked. You're fucked. You're going to play OG Anunoby at center. You're fucked. I'm sorry. Smooth saying, Wenyen Gabriel is not on the Lakers anymore, man. Okay. All right. He's not there anymore? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to remember, the Lakers are discarding people that they shouldn't discard left and right all the time. They just kind of, that's been their mode. It's like, oh, let's just get rid of this guy. Let's get rid of this guy, even though this guy's good. Dennis Schroeder, yeah, we don't need him here anymore. Wenyen Gabriel, yeah, we don't need him anymore. Kyle Kuzma, yeah, he's out of here too. I got to remember that. So I don't even know where Gabriel's playing. Is he on the Pelicans or something like that? Or is he even in the league right now? All right, I don't know. I don't know who's on the roster. It's all like nepotism guys now. It's like Scottie Pippen Jr. and Bronny Jr. and I don't know who's on the Lakers at the point. I don't want any of them. Stanley Johnson's still there? I don't know. James is saying, I don't think the salaries are going to match. We need to take on Rui or D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's an interesting idea, although I don't want him. I really don't. I don't want anybody from the Lakers. Let's just put it that way. We don't want anybody except for Maxwell Lewis. He's the only one that I like over there. David's back. All right, there we go. That's why I keep coming back. Your work ethic is unparalleled. All right, David. I appreciate you being here. The Commissioner of Trivia has returned. And you know what? Since he's here, 9:53 is the timestamp. We're going to do the classic card. David, can you adjudicate for me today? It's been a little while. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see which classic card we get for the day. And let's see if this one's the one I want. Who is that? I can't even read the card because it's so shiny. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. All right. This is hard. This is really hard. All right. I don't know if you guys, I didn't know who this was myself. Let's see what happens. All right. Don't half-ass me. This is going to be hard. I'm going to show you guys the card really close. David, you're going to have to give major points on this one. I would say this is almost a 500-point card. Seriously. All right. Who is that, guys? Classic card of the day. This is insane. Once again, it's not an NBA card. It's a rookie card for a guy who came from Kansas, obviously. He's a Jayhawk. But I have no idea who this guy is. And it's going to take a real knowledgeable person to get this. Now, if somebody wants to do the dirty work to find out who this is on Google, you may have to do that. Because I'm telling you, this is so hard. I've never heard of this player before. So I have no idea who this is. I don't even know if this guy actually made an NBA career. And he has no Raptor connection as far as I know. So, yeah, guys, take a stab at it. Who is that? He's a Kansas player, number 35. And that may be the best that I can do to help you because I have no idea how to kind of like talk about this guy. I mean, I guess I could cover up the back and talk about what the text is saying. Let's see. It's saying, oh, wait, it might have his name in the text. So I better not do that. All right. Who do you guys think this is? This may be this may be the hardest classic card ever in the history of it. There we go. Omari got it. I've never heard of this guy before. Udoka Azubuike is the guy's name. And yeah, that's right. After being held to just 6 points in a loss to Baylor earlier this year, Azubuike was set out for revenge when the number 3 Jayhawks took on the number 1 Bears. So yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's not. It's like Adoka Azubuike. Yeah, and Amari, I don't know how he got the answer. If he just knows Kansas really well, either way, it's fantastic. He's going to give him 400. 400 points for Amari Parsons for getting this crazy classic card of the day that I don't even know if this guy's in the NBA. I have no idea what the hell this card was. Holy crap. Amari knows basketball. He's going to say he knows that because of college. Y'all, if y'all need a house to rent or a mortgage and you're on the west side of the greater Toronto area, Amari Parsons is a realtor and he can help you guys out. So look him up online and contact him and you can get in touch with him. Yeah, there you go. Amari, if you want to put your number in there for realty work, I could get that number. Maybe I'll start putting that on blast too. But yeah, that's amazing that you got that. That is that's insane. Honestly, that is insane. Holy crap. Most saying, what's up to David? That's awesome. I love to see David return. Carlos saying, my mornings ain't complete without you, Lex, and the fellow freaks. There you go, Carlo. There you go. That's what David said, too. He's been a little lost in the last couple of weeks of the tournament that he's been playing in without the morning ritual of watching the Raptors freaks. That's right. David saying Disney's 100-year copyright protection on Mickey and Minnie Mouse is up as of earlier this year. Never too late for Damon to open up shop. Yeah, I think that the owners of Mighty Mouse are King's World. That's the cartoon company. And Mighty Mouse, the thing about Minnie and Mickey is they're a lot older, but Mighty Mouse may not be that much younger. It could come around at some point, but I don't know. In some ways, Damon's not really in that mode. It's like he's a coach. He's in the background. He's the coach at Georgia Tech. And it's not like if he was a player in today's world and that could happen in a line like that, then maybe. But I don't think that he's that interested in this. Like, when has he ever been that much of a merchandise or marketing kind of guy? Like, he was maybe when he was young in his career, but not really. Like, I don't know. I don't see it, David. He's a coach. He's behind the scenes. He doesn't want the spotlight. It's not like he's trying to sell T-shirts. So Seymour saying Darko would work magic with Precious, unlike Butthole Face, who pushed him to injuries. Shaking my head. That part of it could be that, Darko did get Precious for a little while. He did have him last year for a while. It could very well be, once again, Darko's looking for certain kinds of players. And some of the players from our old roster were Nick Nurse kind of players. And, well, that's part of the turnover this past year is Siakam, Anunoby, Van Vliet, Achua, Flynn, Trent, all those guys leaving is to make room for guys that are more in the philosophy of what Darko wants to do. Masai and Bobby are talking to Darko very closely. And they're probably saying, we want to build this team in a way that is useful for you and your philosophies and what you want to do as a basketball coach. And he's like, that's great, guys. I love you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and do my best. And yeah, if you can help me, get Grady Dick. Okay, we'll draft Grady Dick. Boom. It's stuff like that. So I'm sure Darko's very excited about the new crop of players that are coming in for him to mold and develop coming up. Yeah. Yeah, Seymour saying, David, are you him, the bridge champion? I think that he said that they didn't succeed and that in some ways it's a group competition. And in some ways it's the whole group. How it does will carry how he does. So I don't know exactly the format and the scoring or anything. I know y'all want him to win. It says we live in the world of Masai. David, you will win. And I know David is that way. And I'm sure he came there like that and did everything he could possibly do to be successful at the North American Bridge Championships held in Toronto this past month of July 2024. But I don't know exactly how he did. He could explain it to you, I'm sure, somehow, some way. Let's see. He's saying, what's up to Mo? And at Lex, standings updated in last week's trivia. Sorry for the delay. David, thank you so much. It's totally understandable because you were very, very busy. And I got to be accepting of, you have a life and you want to do stuff. But there is a certain level of standard that I do want to have for our Raptor Freak trivia. And I know working together, we'll get it all right. So, yeah, I appreciate you making it all current. And, in some ways, I just get lost. I'm like, who's winning? Who's winning right now? Add it all up. I want to see how close people are at the top. And let's see how competitive the trivia is, because when you show the score, it allows the people to be like, oh, I'm motivated. I'm this far behind Seymour Pape, and I want to overcome him in the trivia standings. And then people get more like involved and like more in some ways competitive. Now, the young man that is the champion right now, we don't need him to be any more competitive, but I want the other people to be stoking the fires of wanting to be more competitive, to challenge him and play, have a very competitive trivia season. So it's kind of like that. I feel like the score is important for people to see what to do. So let's see. David's saying, I have won championships and I've represented Canada in world championships in the past on multiple occasions. That being said, I didn't win shit last week. In some ways, bridge is like any card game. In some ways, it's what you get dealt. In some ways, it's also sometimes just a feel. And sometimes it may be, sometimes you're not lining up with your partner exactly right in certain ways too. I know that from hearing my parents talk about their bridge play, playing with each other. They played for points and very serious bridge and local levels. And, sometimes they're just not connecting. Sometimes my dad is just not picking up on what my mom's trying to lay down as the bid. And, that can happen. It's just like anything. So, David, I know you're an extremely successful bridge career over the years, and well, you can't win them all, but hopefully it was a fun time and you got to see a lot of old friends and just have enjoy yourself. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Seymour saying, wow, okay, repping the country. Well, you are the Raptor Street Bridge champion. Yeah, this guy's serious, Seymour. Seriously. David, you guys don't know this, but David is the youngest bridge master in Canadian history, like in our country. He is the youngest person to get the status of being a grandmaster in bridge, which is basically you have to play a certain amount of games at a high level and succeed to accumulate points. And he was the youngest person to ever reach that status. My parents are involved in this ranking, and they are nowhere near coming anywhere near that status that David got to when he was like a teenager. So no, we're seriously talking to like one of the top players in that sport in our country. And he is world known. And like people pay money to play against David professionally because he brings their ranking up. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, he's serious. He's legit. He's a real deal Holyfield in that world, a top level player in the world of bridge in his life. So there you go. There you go. David's saying Beijing 2008 and India 2015. Those were ones he won. There you go. See, he was out there repping Canada on the world stage and taking home championships in China and India. That's right. And that's like what, 2008, 2015? That's what I'm saying. This is not new to this. In fact, David's playing career is mostly over at this point. He's more in the administrative side. In fact, he's in charge of getting officials and rulings and stuff. Like him being the trivia commissioner just makes sense because in some ways he's the bridge commissioner. Seriously, we're very honored to have David be our trivia commissioner. And I'm blown away that such a competitor and such a great bridge player is a huge fan of my channel. Seriously. In some ways, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And yeah, I mean, I know all about bridge because of my parents. They absolutely love bridge. They absolutely love bridge. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, boss moves. There you go. Congrats to David. David's saying, dude, I lost. Don't congratulate me. They're congratulating you for the stuff they couldn't congratulate you for in 2008 and years before. How about that? How about that? Omari's saying, what's up, freaks? Hope everyone's having a great day. Good to see you, Omari. I hope you're having a fantastic day too. Living life right and having good things happening to you. Good things are coming. I know they are. Omari's saying RJ is going to surprise people. He was a beast in high school and college. Cool Cat is right. Yeah, he's not stopping with his development. He's a smart kid. In some ways, he's got the best coach for this. He's in the best organization for this at this point. And now we're going to see parts of RJ blossom. And in some ways, it may not be too much more new. It's just fine tuning and efficiency and making what he does really, really, really work in what he's doing. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right there. Yeah, Seymour saying, salute the big O, Omari. Yeah, there you go. I like that. Yeah, salute. Okay, Wenyan is a free agent, so he's not actually on a team right now. Very interesting. Fiercely saying maybe it was intentional to reunite the Villanova crew and then ultimately trade OG. That doesn't make any sense because New York has really, really wanted OG for years now. And they finally landed him. And they did sign him to a huge contract, the biggest contract in the history of the Knicks this summer. So it doesn't make any sense that. That's why I'm like, the thing I was hearing in Knicks Nation the last couple of years was we want to get OG or Mikal. They didn't want both, which they did go and get both, which is I don't understand why they did that. It's like either get one or the other and go get Embiid. Is like that was the whole thing is that they were saying, but now they got OG and Mikal, and they're taking up those two spots, and they're basically the same player in some ways. Mikal may be a more offensive-minded OG, and OG's a more defensive-minded Mikal. But they're in a lot of ways, they're in the same area of the roster and what they do. And I see the overlap, and I'm like, why did you do this? Why are you overpaying that position with those two guys? You go ahead and do what you do, New York. We don't have to understand your stupidity. And we'll see in the long run. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So we're saying, what the fuck was that? Yeah, this guy, Udoka, is really weird. That was a really, really weird card. Yeah, Fiercely saying, oops, my bad, David. Well, it takes losing to win, so you'll get it next time. No, he's already won. You got to think about it this way, Fiercely. David, he could play bridge for a long, long time. It's not like you have to have athleticism to play bridge. He can play bridge well into his old age. But the thing is, David's heyday of his prime, I'm not saying he's out of his prime right now because I don't know. He could be still really top game right now. His heyday was back then, and that's when he was like, he's won. He won right from the bat. It's not like he's a Giannis, and you say, oh, I have to lose to fail to get there. No, he won from the beginning, and now it's like things even out, and he loses since. So, no, he's already won. He's a world champion. That's what it is right there. That's right. I'm really impressed by Omari knowing who that player was. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. He was in the NBA at some point. Not for long there, yeah. And Quantum saying no more Nick Nursery. Thank God. You know what? Just for coming in with that non sequitur, just out of the blue, I'm going to give you a dunk because I think that's right, Quantum. And let's see, where's Quantum on the list? You're going to get a 3. So you're Emmanuel Quickly 5. You got that Emmanuel Quickly 5 right now, Quantum. I love it. You called him Nick Nursery. I love it. Carlos saying Papa Flynn was onto something. There was a Nick Nursery fuckery going on. Yeah, I mean, Eric Flynn, he turned out to be kind of right in some ways, but at that time, I had to stand with my coach, and I don't like one of my players' father coming out publicly and attacking our coach and calling him names. So, yeah, Eric Flynn, you're still a jerk. But in some ways, I can turn around and say, man, you were kind of right. But at that time, we didn't need that dumpster fire. So just shut up. Fiercey said, I work while listening and I'm late at reading comments. So sorry again, David. No problem, Fiercey. Don't worry about it. Hit that live button. David saying, you're all good, Fiercey. And yeah, I can't play like I used to. I need more stability and routine, and the lifestyle of playing full time isn't good for one's mental health. See, that's the thing. For David to play and compete, he has to compete all the time and be like toned up and like on top of his game. In some ways, it's the repetition. It's the being in the atmosphere and the environment of the bridge world and knowing who's kind of the players and kind of keeping your edge and keeping. And David, at some point in his playing career, got sick of traveling, guys. He just got sick of going everywhere and doing all that. And that's why he went more into the administrative world of bridge. Is because then he didn't have to go all over the place. And in some ways, he's not excited about flying all around the world at this point. So that's a big part of the difference. Now, if he wanted to play competitively, he'd have to do that. And that's the sacrifice that he's decided to make is like, I'm a celebrated, achieved bridge player in this world. And in some ways, I prefer to just kind of chill at this point. And I'm okay and everything's right. I don't have to play to make money or anything like that. I'm good in this way. So this is where he made this life decision at this point. So it's kind of like that. David's saying, you're all good, Fiercey. And yeah, I can't play like I used to. Yeah. He wants his mental health to be good. And that's why he's staying home more. Angry Mexican saying, Raptor Street, good morning. What percentage do you give South Sudan upsetting Team USA? And Canada fully healthy, can they take down Team USA? I love this question, Angry Mexican. And man, you've been awesome on the channel recently. I really appreciate Hornets Nation being here. I'm going to say this right now. South Sudan's chance to win this game is much less than the last one. The warning of them being a threat is out there now. If they had maybe lost, I don't know. There's no way to do it correctly. You got to go out and beat the USA no matter what. And if you had beaten USA last week, holy crap, it already had a huge impact on South Sudan getting attention. And them winning their first game in the Olympics, too, helped that also. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their momentum will go to Can they go fast and beat them today? I have no idea. I think their chance is pretty slim, though. I think they got a 10% chance out of 100 to beat USA today. And that's me realistically saying this. If they are able to do it somehow, some way, I will be so happy. But also at the same time, as I said earlier, it may be not the best thing right now. Let's just put it that way. It may not be the best thing at this point. Can Canada fully healthy beat the USA? Yes. Easy, short answer right there. Yes, we can. Let's see. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Keep at it always, Lex. Keep at it. Good times are approaching, and they are here also. Raptors for life. Raptor Freak crew. Strong forever. Go Canada. You go too, Monique. I'm going to give you a dunk just for being a badass and one of our favorite Raptor Freaks, one of our best people in our fan nation. And we're going to go to 132. That's where Monique is at with her dunk total at this point. Yeah, David's saying, I accomplished my bridge goals. I need to focus on me and my life goals. There you go. W stream, Lex. Thanks. Tap to you, David. Any way I can elaborate. I hope I'm not telling too much of your private information on the channel. But if I from what I know of talking to you personally and your career and stuff, that's just what I was telling everybody today. And I hope that I portrayed it accurately. Yeah, I think that's all correct what I was saying. Fiercely saying, I heard people who travel for work love it at first, but throughout the years, it becomes tiring. Kudos to the players who extensively travel on weird schedules. Yeah, the one occupation that's the worst for this is wrestling. And like pro sports athletes, they don't have an off season, really. They go 365 days a year. So there's a lot of professional wrestlers that just didn't see their kids. Now, today's wrestling ain't like that. These guys are lazy, and they don't do the schedule that they used to do in the 80s and 90s. They have TV twice a week, and they barely do house shows. So it is tough. It's a grind. In some ways, yeah, people like having the change of scenery every single day. You can think about rock stars or musicians and the way they travel around. It's the same thing. It's a grind. And you're away from your family, and you miss out on big events. You don't get to see children's birthdays or celebrate holidays with your family. It's the sacrifices. And in some ways, David, knowing David's personality, him kind of being like annoyed with people, being in airports and being around a lot of people in those kind of spaces or on airplanes is not fun for David, I'm sure. It's just like somebody's going to annoy the hell out of him. Is what I would say right there. Smooth saying, Lex, man, you're the best of all the Raptors content creators. I put you number 1, Chev number 2, and Amateur Hour number 3. Man, I appreciate that, man. And I anytime I'm in the conversation with NBA Chev, I'm very, very honored. Let's just put it that way. I really appreciate that, Smooth. That means a lot. Wayne saying, big up to David. Hope all is well with you and everyone you care for. Raptor Streaks in Canada. Let's go. There you go. Yeah. Sergeant Wayne Strainer. Yes, David. I'm very proud to call David a good friend of mine. And he is a good quality person in all kinds of different ways. David, I'm looking forward to getting you to come out here once again and hang out out here at the cottage and see some of the things I've been doing. I'm actually starting to take down some of those trees that you were pointing out that I should probably take out. And it's very interesting cutting out more of the buckthorn around the yard. You're going to come back and you're going to see a whole different kind of look to this place than the last time you were here. It's very much changing on a daily basis out here. It really is. Trust me. Really, really is. David's saying, not all at all, man. I'm open book. Dap. I love that. I love that. And you, as long as I don't mischaracterize you, if I do, set me straight. I know I'm always not above reproach. I should be corrected if I do not get things right. I need a fact checker. That's right. Most saying, I'll say this a bit earlier, but anyone hating on the Raptors logo, it will rub on you in no time. But I'm pretty sure everyone loves it. Yeah, Mo, this is going to be fun. We'll talk about this. I like it a lot. And what we're going to talk about tomorrow is going to be fun because I have a message for Raptors Nation. And it's a very strong, opinionated message. And I want them to hear me. And I want to make sure they hear me tomorrow on the Thursday Think Tank. We're going to talk about what we think about the new 30th anniversary Raptors logo. Yeah, Chuck Swirsky getting on the Twitter yesterday and saying, oh, has it been 30 years already, Raptors? Congratulations. Get out the salami and cheese, baby. Onions, baby. Onions. Of course, we love Chuck and his history in our team. And him celebrating the Raptors, I know he has a soft spot for us, and he always will love and cherish the Toronto Raptors no matter what, even if he's the Bulls radio announcer at this point. So, yeah, I love seeing that. Yeah, David Stappen and thanking Wayne. And Fiercely saying W stream. Carlos saying, it's always fascinating meeting people who get to top with their sport like David. Yeah. I mean, seriously, this is part of the reason why when we did the trivia here, he got so competitive about it. In fact, he told me one of the things that made him like my channel was the trivia, was like he loved getting into the trenches on the trivia and competing every week, and he was very serious, just like Ahmed. In the second season, David was a juggernaut, and he was winning no matter what. There was no stopping him. So in some ways, I appreciate that spirit of competition. I know a lot of y'all have it. Wayne Strainer's no prisoners. And in some ways, it's like that kind of winning attitude and excellence like David has in the bridge world. That's what we got in the Raptors world in basketball too. That mindset is shared. And that's why I love how it translates from David in his bridge career to how he feels about the Raptors and how much he wants them to win. And I know that we're all in the same place, right? That with that. Yeah, can't wait, bro. We'll chat soon. For sure, David. You're gonna come back out here. You guys all come back out and we'll have a nice little couple of days out in the country. For sure. Cool Cat saying, Lex, you're gonna give a virtual tour of your Green Thumb adventures? I was telling David this. This is what I think I'm gonna do. Is I think I'm gonna revive my Instagram account, which is under the name Raptors Freak right now, and make it kind of my garden show off channel. That I'm not going to do a YouTube channel, but I may convert my Instagram to being where I show the things I'm doing out here as far as my projects. And because they have the little shorts, I can even film little things where I'm explaining stuff, not to mention taking the pictures. I'm still in this getting settled phase. It's been such a huge transition. And in some ways, I'm still not totally comfortable living out here full time. So all in good time. It could be something that I launch next year that I'll be doing Instagram. My Instagram will be very focused on the yard and the things I'm doing outside. Yeah. David's saying this is why I love the Raptors, not because they're a Canadian team, not because I'm in Toronto, because the vibe of the franchise is to fight, to win, to conquer, and overcome. See, that he shares values with Masai Ujiri and Scotty Barnes. And that is why, right there, that he sees the fight, and in some ways it's an underdog fight that he can relate to and that he is all about himself. All right, let me go over everything on the tabs. All right, Leo's life tips: positive mind, positive vibes, positive life. There you go, Leo. We're trying to keep it positive here. Good job by Canada winning a 10-point win over Australia. We are in the driver's seat. We beat Spain on Friday. Well, we're already into the next round, but we can help our seeding by winning and staying undefeated. So let's go beat Santi Aldama and the Spanish team on Friday in the morning at 11 a.m. I'll be calling it live on this channel, so be ready for that. Looking at the FIBA standings right here, and yeah, Canada at the top of Group A, Germany and France at the top of Group B, and then USA and South Sudan are both undefeated, but one of them will lose today. We'll have to see what happens there. We did the Instagram stories. We talked about the NBA execs talking about the rookie class, and somebody thinks that Jamal Shed is the steal of the draft. Here's our birthday for today, guys. Our birthday is for happy birthday to original Toronto Raptor expansion player Tony Massenberg. Tony Massenberg, original Raptor. It's his birthday today, and he is turning, let me see, how old is that? Holy crap. He's going to be like 54 today. 54 years old is how old Tony Massenberg is. I believe that's right. 54? Somewhere in there. He's in his 50s. So happy birthday, Tony Massenberg. Let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to go about talking about for today? No, I'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. And that's it. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 for the Thursday Think Tank. What do you think of the new Raptors 30th anniversary logo? There you go. That's right. Let's see. Cool Cat saying this Raptors season will be fun, celebrating 30 years. Our championship players will be celebrated for sure. The players that we like, coaches, the 30-year journey will be fire. Yeah, they did let out a little secret yesterday in a blurb that they are going to honor Vince Carter on the anniversary of the 25th anniversary of his dunk championship. That all the ceremonies for Vince are going to be around the All-Star break, and they're going to be when we're going to honor him. So that came out yesterday, that they're going to honor Vince on the 25th anniversary of when he went to Oakland and won the dunk competition. Now, I'm hoping Masai's been listening to me, and he's going to have that statue ready, because that's what I really think is the most appropriate celebration for Vince Carter, is not retiring his jersey, is build him a statue outside our arena. In some ways, if it's in the new Union Station pathway coming from the subway into the arena, that's fine too. But it's probably better for it to be outside because it's Air Canada. So maybe you put it on the Bay Street side near the VIP upstairs entrance, on the Bay Street side and the north east corner of the Air Canada Center, Scotiabank Arena, or you put it out there in Jurassic Park, not far from the practice court in that area over there in between where the catwalks are, and to the side away from all the Maple Leafs row and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But yeah, they've announced when they're going to celebrate Vince, and that's going to be on the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of when he won that dunk contest and put us on the map. Yeah. Fiercely saying, yes, Lex, because a couple of years ago, I was trying to tag you on post and it wouldn't work. But the FB is also a great tool to exchange. I'm trying to think. A couple of years ago, I was trying to tag you on post and it wouldn't work. I'm not sure what was going on there. But you know what? If you were trying to share me in other places, just continue to try and do it. YouTube is not easy to put on Facebook. Facebook hides it. In some ways, it doesn't get a lot of shares. In some ways, my growth's going to be organic. In some ways, I'm not trying to go out and put myself all over the place. That's part of the reason why I don't have a huge subscriber list. I figure the people that really care about the Raptors are going to seek out Raptors content. And if they find me, they're going to stick and stay. But I could be at the end of Raptors games outside handing out flyers from my channel to all the Raptors fans coming out. I've never done that. I don't know if that would get me the right people. In some ways, the right people find me, and we're growing, and we're still growing up and more in number. But in some ways, I appreciate anybody trying to share me in other places, even if it doesn't get a lot of attention, because the growth is going to be there no matter what. It's steadily happened since I started this channel with only 3 subscribers, and we will get to 1,000 subscribers within the next year. I'm positive of this. Yeah, it's going to be good. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, yes, use your IG. Don't overthink it, Lex. Just post images, video clips as you learn. For sure. I will definitely do that. I want to be able to share my journey in that area of my life with you guys in the right venue. And I think that's where it's going to be there. Peace out to you, Neil. Good to see you. And Fiercely saying, tag you on IG posts, but FB chat is also very good and more inclusive as everyone can see the post being shared. I was just saying this in reference of you reactivating IG. It's been there. It's not that it's gone away. It's just I haven't been active on posting on it. So in some ways, I might rebrand it. I might change the name of it and change the pictures. The old stuff will still be there, the old Kensington Variety VIP Club archive. But the content that's going to be going up there soon will all be very nature-oriented and out in the yard. All right, guys, thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Touch grass. Raptorize your day like Nav would. And I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Let's go, Team Canada. So proud of you, RJ. Keep being the young man that you are, and you're only going to succeed. I know you are, because you're just like that, man. And RJ Barrett is Maple Mamba. And I'm so proud and happy that he plays for not only Team Canada in the Olympics right now, but he's on the Toronto Raptors. And I'm so looking forward to this season. I know a lot of people are, because they're seeing how RJ's playing right now at the Olympics. Let's go. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Team Canada.